afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Anaheim, California for today's Trinity League matchup between the Orange Lutheran Lancers and the Servite Friars. Orange Lutheran comes into the contest at 7-1 and 2-1 in the Trinity League. For the Friars, this will be their league opener this afternoon as they come into the contest today with an overall record of 5-0. In what could be the most important Trinity League series of the season this year, these two teams match up very well against one another, and they will put each other to the test 3 times this week, starting here at Servite High School on a Tuesday afternoon. They will transition to Hart Park on Wednesday night and come back here for the finale on Friday at 3:15 p.m. Should be a good series on tap this week, just like last week against J. Sarah for these Lancers, as they look to improve once again to 8-1 on the year. Hi, everybody. Welcome once again to Anaheim, California. My name is Nathan Percy. A pleasure to have you alongside us as these two teams do battle once again. Last year, it was a Trinity League sweep for Orange Lutheran, 3-0 edge over the Friars, though it was not easy. Orange Lutheran won the first game here 5-1. They took it back to Hart Park on a Wednesday night, took game 2 by a final of 1-0. And then took the finale here after falling behind 3-0. They wound up winning by a final of 9-4. But these two teams always provide fits for each other, and we expect nothing less here this week. We'll get you the starting lineups here, and then we'll get to our pregame guest. We talked with junior third baseman Casey Borba before the game today. The Lancers coming off their first loss of the year at the hands of the J. Sarah Catholic Lions down in San Juan Capistrano. Final of 2-1, in which the Lancers scored their lone run in the first and did not mount any offense to speak of. After that point in time, J. Sarah scored 2 runs in the bottom of the third and took that to a victory. J.J. Hollis got the complete game win for the Lions in that one. Orange Lutheran once again on the road here in Anaheim, a little bit closer to home. And for head coach Eric Borba, a few changes in the lineup. It looks like this afternoon. Derek Curiel, the center fielder, will lead things off. Carson Bowen, the senior catcher, will bat second. Mikey Romero moves down a spot to bat third. He's your shortstop today. Casey Borba, the third baseman, batting cleanup today. Gabe Miranda, the first baseman, will bat fifth. Brian Martinez in right field will bat sixth. Ben Ryland in left will bat seventh. Chase Cummings, the second baseman, will bat eighth. And rounding it out, batting ninth, Luis Rodriguez is in the lineup, though we've been told this will be a situational spot for the Lancers today, depending on who is on the mound for Servite. So once again, for Orange Lutheran, that's Curiel, Bowen, Romero, Borba, Miranda, Martinez, Ryland, Cummings, and Rodriguez. Your starter today, the senior left-hander Oliver Santos, who got the start on Wednesday night against J. Sarah last week, took a no decision after throwing 4 2/3 scoreless innings. He has yet to give up a run this season and has pitched 14 2/3 innings for the Lancers so far, heading into this one today. Now for Sean Gilbert's Friars. He's in his 8th season as head coach, and Gilbert rolls out a lineup that looks like this. Center fielder Jared Hocking will lead things off. Augie Gutierrez, the second baseman, will bat second. Roman Martin, the shortstop, batting third. Trevor Schmidt, the left fielder, will bat fourth. Miles Scott, who gets the start on the mound today, will bat fifth. Jonathan Rodriguez, your first baseman, batting sixth. Aiden Navikhauser, the starting catcher, will bat seventh. Camden Cluett, your designated hitter today, will bat eighth. And Austin Rabago, the third baseman in his senior season, will round it out batting ninth. So once again, for the Friars, that's Hocking, Gutierrez, Martin, Schmidt, Scott, Rodriguez, Avikhauser, Cluett, and Rabago. Joey Rossetti is the defensive specialist today. He is playing right field. Once again, Miles Scott getting the start today. This will be his first action on the mound this season. He's just a freshman who checks in at 5'8", 140, as head coach Sean Gilbert says so far this season he hasn't really felt the moment, hoping the same thing for him here today, as a couple of the other starters have struggled out of the gates. So he's given them a bit of a time off while he allows Miles Scott to get the opportunity here against the Lancers this afternoon. Well, once again, as we mentioned, we had a chance to catch up with Lancers third baseman and head coach Eric Borba's son, Casey Borba, before the start of this one here today. Casey in his second year as a starter and a mainstay at third base this season after playing some time at third, first, and as the designated hitter last year as a sophomore. We talked about what he learned his sophomore season and what he brings to the table here as a junior. Also expanded upon his leadership role and his recent commitment to the University of Texas. Without further ado, here is Casey Borba on the Lancers pregame show. All right, I'm here with Lancers junior third baseman Casey Borba, and Casey, obviously a tough way to finish out the series last week against Jay Serra. You did have an RBI knock in the first inning. Curious to know, did it just kind of feel different going after that first inning into the rest of the game with JJ on the mound and some of the plays that the defense, especially the left side of the infield, was making?
Yeah, I feel like we just had a little bit of an off game. We came into the third game thinking that it was going to be easy winning the first two, especially winning by 9 runs the first game. So going into that third game, I just felt like we were kind of too mellow, I would say. Okay. So, yeah.
What's it like coming off your first loss of the year? What was the conversation like with amongst the team, and what did you guys kind of do to mentally prepare for this another tough series here against Servite?
Yeah, we didn't change much. I mean, we just stayed about our game. We're gonna try to get the dugout going the full 7 innings today. Hopefully, we have some support there, and it'll be a good game.
Yeah. Obviously, your second year as a starter here. Did you feel any pressure last year, your sophomore year? You were thrust into the cleanup role. Obviously, coach's son comes with some, added pressure to begin with. But being thrust in that role and knowing that maybe your dad was going a bit on the line to get you in the lineup. How did you deal with that pressure? How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of did whatever I'd normally do. I didn't try to let it get to me too much. I just stayed with my game, didn't think about it, just played as best as I can.
Yeah, it certainly worked out. It certainly paid off for you guys in the long run. How did you feel about the growth that you had as a player last year, and what did you really learn about yourself before coming into your junior season?
Yeah, I just learned that I could take more hits from people. There was a lot of people talking crap last year about coach's kid, but now I feel like it's it just doesn't faze me anymore. So
yeah, still in a prominent spot in the lineup, and you got 2 talented kids ahead of you, and Derek and Mikey. You've got Gabe providing some insurance behind you, as well as Brian Martinez. How do you feel about your spot? Do you feel like there's a good amount of protection around you, and how does that affect the pitches that you see?
Yeah, every game I feel like I'm protected. We got one of the best lineups I've ever seen in high school ball. So it's pretty cool having looking at the lineup card and seeing all these dudes behind me and in front of me. So
yeah, you're one of the juniors who's in the starting lineup. Do you take on a leadership role like the seniors do, and if so, what do you try to do for the team?
Yeah, I just try to be the best teammate I can, keeping people positive when something's not going their way, and then when something's not going my way, try to stay positive too.
Yeah. So once again, we're here with third baseman Casey Borba. Now, Casey, you made a commitment in the off season, or right before the start of the season, really, to the University of Texas. Tell me about that and what made that the right choice for you.
Yeah, so I went on a visit there in October. And as soon as I went on, I just knew it was the place. It was so sweet. The coaches were awesome. Troy Tulowitzki is one of their coaches, and that had a big impact. So, yeah, I just loved it there as soon as I walked on the campus.
Well, a guy who plays the left side of the infield is going to teach you in a couple of years about playing the left side of the infield. That's got to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
The last year, this series was it was a sweep for you guys, but this Servite team never makes it easy for you guys. What's it going to take this week in your mind to really put a stamp on this series and win it?
Yeah, we just all got to play together as a team, stick as one whole. So I think that'll give us the best shot for this week.
And again, going back to that, that loss last Friday, is there added motivation to try to get after it early in this one?
Yeah, I think we got a lot more motivation than last week. The loss didn't feel very good, so this week we're hoping not to get another one.
Yeah. Just a couple more questions from me. I asked this of Chase, but with guys like Luis Rodriguez and Oliver Santos on the mound, is it sometimes hard to keep focus when you're in the field because they strike out so many guys?
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of strikeouts in those games usually, but it's fun. It's nice to see.
You made a couple of diving stops over there at third base this year, too, really helping out those pitchers. Tell me about your defensive prowess and what you do to make sure that you're ready each and every time the ball comes your way.
Yeah, I just try to get my pre-pitch on time, get both feet landing at the same time so that I could get the best read on every ball, and then just do my thing and make the play.
Yeah. Last question for me, and I always end this with everybody, but obviously this team is poised for another strong season. League championship and a CIF championship are goals. But is there anything that you're looking to improve upon for yourself this season, or is it all team-oriented at this point?
Pretty much just team-oriented, being the best teammate I can to help us win a CIF. Get the first one of the school.
Well, you guys are off to a good start, and you as well personally are off to a good start as well. Congrats on the success so far. Best of luck the rest of the way. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Once again, Casey Borba on the pregame show. Another year older, another year wiser. Again, for many of these players that we're interviewing this year as opposed to last year, it seems like the nerves they had were gone this season. Very impressed so far with the way the Lancers have handled those interviews, because sometimes I can come at them with questions they're not expecting. So thanks again to Casey Borba, our pregame guest. We're going to step aside real quick as we're just about ready for the opening invocation and the national anthem. This is Lancers Baseball on CA Sports Zone in the Coach's Radar.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Servite High School for the game between the Orange Lutheran Lancers and our Servite Friars. The Lancers are coached by Casey Borba and ended the game with an overall record of 7 wins and 1 loss and rated the #1 team in the nation. The Friars, coached by Sean Gilbert, are 5-0. As we begin all things at Servite, please join me in prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, you have blessed these athletes with exceptional talent. Continue to bless them today and protect them from injury and harm. Thank you for our teammates, coaches, umpires, and fans. May all of our collective efforts bring honor to our schools as we strive to be the best that we can be. We ask this in the name of Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with you, and the Holy Spirit, forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Please remain standing for the national anthem, sung by Servite Juniors, Dominic Oakley and Joy Easer.
Just about set for baseball here as Servite and Orange Lutheran kick off a 3-game series here in Anaheim. Once again, the Servite Friars coming in at 5-0 on the year, champions of the Loera tournament this season, and Orange Lutheran coming in at 7-1 this season, coming off their first loss of the 22 campaign against J. Sarah, looking to turn things around here tonight. Once again, for the Friars, they will throw out Miles Scott on the mound, a freshman left-hander who will employ a fastball, curveball, and a change-up, and we'll see how he does here against Orange Lutheran. The Lancers also throwing a left-hander today in Oliver Santos, who will get another start here, his 4th of the campaign, and we will see him in the bottom of the first inning. So Miles Scott walking his way to the mound. He'll be matched up with Aiden Avikhauser behind the plate as Servite looks to maintain a perfect record here in 2022. A lot to be excited about if your head coach Sean Gilbert says the one thing that he wants his team to showcase is consistency from pitch to pitch, game to game, as he's got plenty of returning talent and quite a few Division I commits on his squad this season. We'll see quite a few of them here today. Again, for the Lancers, Derek Curiel to lead things off. Carson Bowen and Mikey Romero will be due up in the first inning as well. Casey Borba will bat 4th. Gabe Miranda will bat 5th. Brian Martinez will bat 6th. Ben Ryland 7th. Chase Cummings, the second baseman, batting 8th. And Luis Rodriguez, though we will likely see somebody else in that 9 spot as they decide to go situational against Miles Scott so far today. And for the left-hander, it will be his first appearance on the mound here in the 2022 campaign, the 8th different pitcher that Servite has used this season, as again they've had some struggles out of the right arm of Xavier Cardenas III, and Chris Grotus, who was out last year with an ACL injury, just hasn't quite returned to form yet on the mound. We might see him on Friday. We'll have to keep an eye on that as the series goes along. But once again, here in Anaheim on this on-campus stadium here at Servite, a lot of changes here over the last few years. They've got artificial turf around the plate and about halfway down the first and third base lines. And again, the deepest part of the ballpark definitely out to deep right center, as the right fielders today, Joey Rossetti and Brian Martinez, will have their hands full here this afternoon. Wind blowing from left to right across home plate today. Usually it either blows straight in from left field or it can blow out to left field depending on whether the Santa Anas are in town. Not so today. We've got a bit of an onshore flow, as this will cool things down a bit for the players on the field. Mid-70s the temperature, as we're just about set for baseball here on a brilliant Tuesday afternoon. Very good-sized crowd on hand for this one as Derek Curiel steps into the batter's box. Again, a testament to the talent Servite has this season. They have been invited to the National High School Invitational and the Boris Baseball Classic for the first time this year. And again, 8 of their 9 starters in the lineup got ample playing time a season ago. First pitch from Miles Scott, a fastball in there for a called strike, and we are underway here in Anaheim. Official time of the start of the game a couple minutes late, 3:17 as the left-hander kicks and deals. Slow leg kick as he fires to the plate, gets another one over the air, and the count goes to 0-2. Derek Curiel 0 for 2 with a run scored and a walk against Jay Serra on Friday. The only run of the game for the Lancers, it came in the top of the first inning. No balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch, and that one's a bit low and away, 1-2. For Curiel this series last year was really his breakout party. 5 for 10 in the series a season ago with 5 runs batted in. 1-2. That one bounces in the dirt. Count goes even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 6'2" sophomore, the number 2 ranked sophomore in Southern California, according to Prep Baseball Report, looking to get things going a bit this season. A bit of a slow start for him. He's 5 for 20 in the first 8 games of the year. Here's the 2-2. This one a high chopper to second base. Coming in for it is Augie Gutierrez. He throws to first, and that'll be the first out of the inning here for Servite. 1 out, nobody on. Carson Bowen will be the next man up, and with that, we'll introduce you to the defense here for the Friars. Again, Aiden Navickhauser, the senior behind the plate. Jonathan Rodriguez, the junior at first base. At second base today, Augie Gutierrez. Roman Martin, the junior at short, and Austin Rabago, the senior at third base, as the first pitch comes in on the right-handed Bowen. In there for a called strike. It's 0-1. Trevor Schmidt, the senior in left. Jared Hawking, a senior in center, and Joey Rossetti, the senior in right. No balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch from Scott. It bounces in the dirt. It's 1-1. Senior heavy lineup, and again, a lot of Division I commits. It starts with Hawking in center field. He and Roman Martin both committed to UCLA. Of course, Martin in his junior year. The 1-1 comes in. This one out to right field. Going back for it is Rossetti. He'll make a running catch running towards the fence, and Bowen is retired for the second out. Good spot there for Bowen. There's a lot of room out there in right field, but a good route to the baseball by Joey Rossetti as well as he takes a base hit away. And with 2 outs and nobody on, Mikey Romero batting third will be next. Right side of the field shifting a bit for him here. He's pulled the ball quite a bit this season. Not this time, however. He goes opposite field, and right there to make the catch is Trevor Schmidt in left center. A nice, easy 1-2-3, top of the first for the freshman Miles Scott on the mound. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base for Orange Lutheran after half an inning of play. Orange Lutheran nothing. Servite coming up. This is Lancers Baseball on CA Sports Zone and the Coach's Radar. Well, baseball fans, are you looking for a reliable, cost-effective commercial cleaning company in Orange County? then contact Jet Clean Janitorial at jetcleaninc.com to handle all your commercial cleaning needs. Jet Clean, the finest and the fastest, guaranteed. So a good start for Miles Scott on the mound for Servite. That'll bring up the Friars, who will take on Oliver Santos today. The left-handed senior has no ERA to this point, 14.2 innings pitched. He's allowed 8 hits. He's struck out 23 and walked 4. He's been in a couple of jams this season, but he's been able to work out of them, particularly against Huntington Beach. And Jay Serra had him tied up quite a bit on Wednesday last week at Hart Park, but every time Santos was able to get out of the frame unscathed. So Santos will take to the hill once again here today. He does have a 1-0 record to his credit so far this year, as he employs a fastball, a slider, curveball, and a changeup. He'll face off against a Friars lineup with tons of experience coming into this one today. Jared Hawking, Augie Gutierrez, and Roman Martin to lead things off. This is also a lineup looking to exact maybe a bit of revenge after they struggled offensively against the Lancers a season ago. We'll get into that as the game goes along. But some of these guys very highly ranked in their classes, especially Roman Martin in the junior class. The number 3 batter here today is off to a sizzling start to his junior campaign. He's ranked number 7 among the class of 2023 in the state of California. So we'll see him early on. Jared Hawking will lead things off. The UCLA grad went 0 for 10 in last year's series with a couple of strikeouts. Missed a significant amount of time last year as well due to a couple of injuries, but he appears to be ready to go here today as Santos finishes up his warm-up tosses after the first out of the first inning. We'll introduce the Lancers defense to you. Again, this is the league opener here for Servite, as Orange Lutheran and Jay Serra got started a week early last week. The other 4 teams, Servite, Santa Margarita, Mater Dei, and St. John Bosco, all starting their league campaigns here today. And of course, another thing to keep an eye on, Servite has not played since February 26th, since they won that low-era tournament. So it'll be interesting to see if they come out blazing today or if maybe they're a little rusty after a couple of weeks off. Of course, before the game, head coach Sean Gilbert saying that's not the way he wanted to create the schedule, but because of the rule that you can only play 28 total games here in 2022, coupled with the fact that they'll have 2 tournaments in April, and it's just unfortunately kind of the way it had to shake out for him this year. As Santos is ready to go, Hawking, the right-hander, steps in. First pitch, line drive right through the hole on the left-hand side, and it's a quick start for the Friars here in the bottom of the first inning. So 1 pitch, and Hawking is on. That's his 14th hit already of this young season. And with 1 on and nobody out, it'll be Augie Gutierrez due up next. So immediately Santos out of the stretch as Gutierrez steps in. Couple of hits for him in the series last year, including a 2-run home run in game number 3 on a Saturday afternoon that at the time put Servite up 3-0. Here's a ground ball to third, just what the Lancers needed, but Borba bobbles, and he'll only have 1 play at first. So they get Gutierrez, but moving up to second base is Hawking. That ball hit right to him, but on the transfer just lost his grip. It fell to the turf, and he was able to get the out over at first anyway. So that'll go as a routine 5-3, but the Lancers really could have used a double play, and now Roman Martin has an opportunity here for an RBI if he can find a base hit. Quick start here for Servite. They like what they see out of Santos so far. Martin a wide stance and a right-handed bat. Playing shortstop, bends the knees, shortens up that frame a bit. First pitch is in there for a called strike on the outside edge. It's 0-1. Wore the number 34 last year, has switched over to number 1 this year. He's 6'2", 175. Again, he's in his junior season. Second-year starter at shortstop. The Friars have had a few pretty good ones in Sean Gilbert's tenure. Again, he's in his 8th year as head coach. Santos checks second, fires to the plate. Slider in there, called strike. It's 0-2. Should get to the Lancers defensively, my apologies. Carson Bowen, the senior behind the plate. Over at first is Gabe Miranda. Chase Cummings at second base. Mikey Romero, the shortstop. At third base, Casey Borba. Sophomore Ben Ryland in left. Derek Curiel in center. And in right field today is Brian Martinez. No balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Fastball just a bit low. Laid off by Martin. It's 1-2. Jared Hawking at second. He singled to lead off the ball game. Augie Gutierrez hit a ground ball right to Borba at third, but could only get the runner at first after dropping the ball in the transfer. Trevor Schmidt on deck. So the 1-2 comes in. This one another chopper to Borba. He will look over at second as Hawking stays there. The throw a bit offline, but handled there by Miranda on the bag, and Martin is retired for out number 2. So no harm, no foul there, at least for the Lancers anyway. And with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, it'll be Trevor Schmidt, the 4-year starter. Hawking 14 hits and 21 at-bats to start. So we're in game number 6 for the Friars this season. He stands over at second, being held by Mikey Romero. This young man, Trevor Schmidt, one of the purest line drive hitters in this lineup and in Southern California as he checks in, a left-hander. Santos checks second. Here comes the first pitch. A check swing, and he laid off. It's low, 1-0. 1 for 9 with a strikeout in the series last year between these two teams was Trevor Schmidt. That base hit coming in game number 3. Even stance for him. And as he checks in, 6'1", 220. Committed to Arizona. That fastball hits at the knees for a strike. It's 1-1. Bottom of the first, no score between Orange Lutheran and Servite. The Friars threatening. Runner in scoring position with 2 outs. 1 ball, 1 strike on the left-hander, Trevor Schmidt, as Santos steps off the rubber and looks back over at second base. Should Schmidt get on base, Miles Scott will be the next man up here for Servite. 1-1, here's the offering. Check swing, he did not go around as it dips low. The count goes to 2-1. A couple of times that Schmidt has started, but been able to keep the bat from crossing the plane. Derek Curiel playing just a bit off a center towards left center. Big gap to right center here for Schmidt. Here's the pitch, and that fastball hits the outside edge at the knees for a strike. It's 2-2. Good pitch there by Santos, especially given the defensive alignment in the outfield. Don't want to pitch him inside and let him pull something to the right where there's a lot of space. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Romero holding the runner. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, and Santos gets out of the inning with a strikeout at Trevor Schmidt. Fastball up in the zone. Schmidt unable to keep up with it, and that's how the inning will end. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base for Servite in the bottom of the first. We are through 1 here at Servite High School in Anaheim, and no score between Orange Lutheran and Servite. This is Lancers Baseball on CA Sports Zone and the Coach's Radar. Top of the second inning we go here at Servite High School in Anaheim. No score between Orange Lutheran and Servite as Miles Scott takes back to the hill here for the Friars. He'll face off against the middle of the Lancers order. Casey Borba, Gabe Miranda, and Brian Martinez due up in this inning. If anybody gets on base, Ben Ryland will be waiting in the 4 spot. Nice, easy 1-2-3 inning for Miles Scott in the top of the first. A ground out and a couple of fly ball outs. Some good work in the outfield by Joey Rossetti in right field to rob Carson Bowen of a potential extra base hit. Scott back at it here. Left-hander kicks and deals. The first pitch to Borba, breaking ball that dips low. The count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. Borba had the RBI base hit against Jay Serra in Friday's game. Orange Lutheran was only able to put up 2 hits in that ball game against J.J. Hollis, and they both came in the first inning as the first 3 reached base safely. Rest of the way, Orange Lutheran got 4 base runners, but nobody passed first. Borba ahead of the count here, 2 balls and no strikes after a fastball goes low. Here comes the pitch from the freshman. Just off the outside edge to the right-hander, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. Of course, Jay Serra will play Santa Margarita to open up a 3-game set tonight, 6 p.m. at St. Pierre Field. Braden Bell will be on the call for the Lions in that one. As this pitch is in there for a called strike, 3 balls and 1 strike here on Casey Borba. And the third series of the week pits Mater Dei against St. John Bosco. And that series, I believe, starts at St. John Bosco today. As this pitch stays upstairs, it's a 5-pitch walk here to Casey Borba, and the Lancers have their first base runner of the ball game as he heads down to first. Double check that on the scheduling here for Mater Dei and St. John Bosco. Yes, the Monarchs are at St. John Bosco today. So 2 afternoon games this afternoon, and Jay Serra hosts the nightcap tonight against Santa Margarita. A couple of good teams. The Lions 6-5 overall, and Santa Margarita 8-0 as Gabe Miranda steps in here. Runner at first, nobody out. Watches a first pitch in there for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Get me over fastball there from Miles Scott, maybe a bit towards the outer half of the plate. Miranda on Friday last week, 0 for 3, fly ball out, couple of ground outs in that one as this pitch misses low. Count goes to 1-1. Nice block there by Avicauser behind the plate. That keeps Borba honest over at first. Again, this series between these two always competitive. It's surprising at times to know that Servite has only won 1 series out of 14 against Orange Lutheran. It came back in 2017. These two definitely the most experienced teams coming back to the Trinity League this season. Again, Servite with 7 everyday starters in the lineup. Orange Lutheran's got 6 or 7, depending on what you consider. So this one a bit low. Another good block by Avicauser. It's 2 balls and 1 strike here on Gabe Miranda. In the series last year between these two teams, Miranda 0 for 2 at the plate with a walk, a strikeout, and a stolen base. But on the mound, he got a win. He pitched 3 innings in relief in Game 3. Gave up 1 earned run on 2 hits. A couple of strikeouts as this one again low from Miles Scott. It's 3-1. Again, we thought coming in that the 3 starters would be Kai Negretti, Xavier Cardenas III, and Chris Grotus, perhaps in that order. As the 3-1 comes in, this one a ground ball hit foul. Well in front of it there was Miranda. And the count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes as it bounces off Martinez in the on-deck circle down the first base line. Cardenas struggling out of the gate this season. Again, as head coach Sean Gilbert said, Grotus not quite where he was before the ACL injury he suffered last year. Here's another line drive, but again, pulled foul to the right. Count remains full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Top of the second, nobody out. Runner at first is Casey Borba as he trots back. No score between Orange Lutheran and Servite. 1 hit belongs to Jared Hawking in the bottom of the first inning. Orange Lutheran wearing their road gray uniforms, the ones that they tried to debut against Ayala a few weeks back. As this one misses low, it bounces in, and Miranda will walk down to first. So back-to-back walks here to open up the top of the second inning. The Lancers have runners at first and second here for Brian Martinez. Again, these uniforms, V-neck style uniforms, no buttons. They've got the Lancer crest on the left side of the chest, red numbers on the front and back. All gray today, the gray pants with the thin red and white stripes down the sides. And the red cleats for them today. Servite wearing their alternate black jerseys with Servite written in white letters across the chest and the Servite crest on the lower right abdomen. Numbers on the back and on the left sleeves. Here comes the first pitch here to Martinez. He bunts it down the third base line. It's picked up by Avickhauser. Thought about third, but goes to first instead and gets Martinez, who sacrifices the two runners into scoring position. So that'll go as a 2-3 put out, or pardon me, a 2-4 put out there for Martinez, but he gets the job done. Both runners move ahead 90 feet, and now Ben Ryland with an RBI opportunity with one out. Borba at third, and now Miranda over at second base. Ryland in a couple of games last year in this series, 1 for 4 with a run scored. Left-handers had quite a few big moments early on in the season so far this year, and he's come through in quite a few of them. Scott kicks and deals. Fastball in there for a called strike. It's 0-1. Lefty-on-lefty matchup here. Chase Cummings will be the man on deck. Ben Ryland, the number 7 batter in the lineup. And you can hear a large crowd on hand here. They've installed bleachers behind the backstop here at Servite this year. Plenty of fans taking advantage of those here this afternoon, and standing room only behind them. No balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball stays upstairs, and the count is 1-1. Released a bit early there by Scott. Hawking playing Ryland to pull this one. He's a bit to the right of dead center. And a bit closer to the line down in right field is Joey Rossetti. Same thing with the second baseman, Augie Gutierrez. Here's the pitch, and this one fouled straight back. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. In his sophomore season is Ben Ryland. Stands about 5'8", 5'9", a left-hander with an even stance. Casey Borba waiting at third. Over at second is Miranda. Roman Martin not necessarily holding him there from the shortstop position. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Upstairs, 2-2. Cummings awaiting his opportunity on deck. This mound for Servite a bit higher than some of the other fields we've been to, but Scott's making it work for him so far. He's out of the stretch. The freshman trying to rise to the challenge here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This one a line drive. That's going to get down. Borba's going to come home to score. They'll stop Miranda at third. The Lancers strike first. On an RBI base hit by Ben Ryland, it's 1-0 Orange Lutheran. Nice opposite field hitting there. That's also the Lancers' first hit. As they take the lead here in the top of the second. Still 1 out now. Runners on the corners for Chase Cummings. Pitch a bit up in the zone. Ryland waited for it. Deposited it right in front of the left fielder Trevor Schmidt, who tried to bluff that he had a play on it, but Borba wasn't fooled. He was already trotting home. Orange Lutheran up early, 1-0. Chase Cummings steps in, the senior second baseman, looking to continue it here as Scott now has a double play opportunity if he can get a ground ball. He'll look Ryland back over to the bag at first. Hawking back to dead center as the first pitch comes in. Shows bunt, gets this one down the first base line, but it's foul. Avickhauser collects it in the glove before it can go back into fair territory, and the count's 0-1. Noah Rodriguez, the man on deck here for Orange Lutheran. Chase Cummings on Friday, 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch in the 5th inning, but didn't factor into the scoring. He was taken off the base paths at second base on a fielder's choice. Also struck out in that ball game. No balls, 1 strike, lefty on righty matchup, and the pitcher will throw to first base. Back in standing up is Ryland. Season ago in this series for Cummings, 1 for 4, but the hit was a big one. 2 runs batted in. Also struck out once in last year's series. Played in 2 of the 3 games as the 0-1 comes in. Again tries to bunt it, but this one is fouled off and back into the catcher. The count goes to 0-2. Bunt likely called off here. Cummings will try to get a base hit. 2 older brothers. He's the 3rd in line. All of them have played baseball. Transfer from Santiago High School a couple of seasons ago in Corona. And again, already a walk-off hit this year. He's got 3 in his 2-year Lancer career. No balls, 2 strikes. Scott looks over at first a couple times and will throw in that direction as Ryland is back in standing up. So after a clean first inning, Scott tested here in the second inning. 1 out, runners on the corners, but he's ahead of Chase Cummings. No balls, 2 strikes. Here comes the offering. A breaking ball swung on and missed, and that's a big out there for Miles Scott as he gets Cummings on strikes. First strikeout for the freshman. And with 2 outs and runners on the corners, Noah Rodriguez will make his way to the plate. Again, just a reminder as well for those of you who are tuning in on Mixlr.com, we have live video of the ball game as well via YouTube if you search the Coach's Radar. We have a video broadcast of the game as well. The audio is tied into both feeds. So if you're in a spot where you can watch video as well, feel free to do so. The Coach's Radar on YouTube.com. You can watch today's action. Rodriguez, the right-hander, steps in. 2 outs. Miranda at third. Gabe Miranda, that is. This one lifted into right field. Coming in for it is Joey Rossetti. He'll make the catch. And Miles Scott limits the damage to just 1 run on 1 hit. No errors and 2 left on base. But the Lancers get on the board first here in the top of the second. We head to the bottom half of the inning. 1-0 Orange Lutheran over Servite. This is Lancers Baseball on CASportZone.com and the Coach's Radar. Well, Lancer Baseball sponsor K-Zone Training Center is an indoor baseball and softball training facility located in Yorba Linda. Open 7 days a week. It offers 5 lanes, including 2 with pitching mounds and hack attack machines, 3 tee hitting areas, and hit tracks. Appointments can be booked online at KZoneBPCages.com. That's KZoneBPCages.com. K-Zone Training Center. Book your appointment today. And while we've got you, Brake and Tire Depot is a Lancer family-owned small business serving Orange County for 31 years and proud sponsors of Orange Lutheran Baseball. Visit them at 1205 East 1st Street in Santa Ana for a special Lancer discount. Once again, that's Brake and Tire Depot. Visit them at 1205 East 1st Street in Santa Ana for a special Lancer discount. Santos back out for the bottom of the second inning. Miles Scott, Jonathan Rodriguez, and Aiden Avicauser due up here for Servite. As the Friars try to get back the 1 run allowed in the top half of the frame. Servite got a base hit in the first inning from Jared Hawking, but he was stranded at second base as Gutierrez and Martin both grounded out to Casey Borba at third. And Trevor Schmidt struck out to end the frame. Again, mid-70s here in Anaheim. Some haze over us here, some thin cloud cover in the sky, but overall, beautiful day for baseball here in Southern California. We hope you're enjoying your day wherever you may be. Pleasure to have you with us here today as these two meet again here in 2022. Miles Scott will step in. Freshman has a .444 batting average so far this season, 8 hits and 18 at-bats. As Oliver Santos kicks and deals. Fastball in there just below the letters for a strike. It's 0-1. Well, again, this young pup is head coach Sean Gilbert had a lot of good things to say about him as the 0-1 comes in. A fastball that's a bit low and inside. It's 1-1. Has not felt the moment, he said. Explaining the poise of this young freshman here, Miles Scott, and it shows in the numbers. He's got two extra base hits so far this season. So the 1-1 comes in. Here's one poked into right field. That's going to fall. Make it 9 base hits for him this year. And in back-to-back innings, the Friars have led off with a base hit. On a 1-1 pitch, he gets one just out of the reach of Chase Cummings at second base and into right center. And he now puts himself on at first base for Jonathan Rodriguez. The left-hander committed to Cal State Fullerton, Long Beach State, rather. We'll check in for the first time in the series. He was the Game 3 starter last year. As the first pitch comes in, this one fouled off straight back. It's 0-1. At the plate, 1 for 9 in the series last year, running a couple of strikeouts, but on the mound he was pretty good. 4 1/3 innings pitched in that Saturday start. Gave up 3 runs, but none of them earned on 4 hits. Struck out 3. Did not walk any batters. Coincidentally enough, he wears the number 3 here. Left-hander, slightly open stance. Santos out of the stretch, looks at Miles. Here's the 0-1 offering. This one's fouled off as well, 0-2. 1 stolen base this year for Scott over at first. Keep an eye on that. Miranda's holding him at the bag. And on deck, Aiden Avikhauser here for the Friars. Bottom of the second, nobody out, runner at first. A 1-0 Orange Lutheran lead. Santos exhales as he looks over at first. He'll fire to the plate. Inside, and they say it nicked him. He'll head down to first, and Santos has allowed the first 2 on base here in this inning. As Rodriguez will head down to first as he's lost on an 0-2 count. Moving up to second is Miles Scott. So Servite now putting something together here once again in the bottom of the second inning. And Aiden Avikhauser will be the next man up. Miranda will now play in over at first. Borba also in, about even with the third base bag. Outfield pretty much straight up here as Avikhauser, the right-hander, gets set to go, but Oliver Santos will step off and look back at second. Again, the last time these Friars played on February 26th, it was an 18-5 victory over Lakewood in the Loera Tournament Championship game. Avikhauser shows bunt, gets it down right back to the pitcher. Santos and Miranda were both going after it, and now they'll have no play. Nearly hit each other. The ball scooted toward the first base line, and everybody's safe. And now the base is loaded here with nobody out. And they call that one, they haven't put anything up yet. I believe that'll be an error on the Lancers, but either way, bases loaded now. Camden Cluett with the opportunity at the plate. He's the backup catcher. He's also a pretty good pitcher here for Servite. Right-hander even stance at the plate. Here comes the first pitch, and that one's in there for a called strike. It's 0-1. It's Miles Scott at third. Jonathan Rodriguez at second. Aiden Avikhauser over at first. Santos looking to get out of this thing. They do call it an error. First of the ball game here for Orange Lutheran. Cluett came in late in that Lakewood game. Here comes the 0-1. It's a breaking ball that stays up and away. It's 1-1. Cluett ended up getting a base hit in one at bat, but did not factor into the scoring. Jared Hawking in that game was 5 for 5. A couple of doubles. Scored a pair of runs and drove in 3. He had the big offensive day. 0-1, here's the pitch, and that fastball misses inside. It's now 2-1. It was 1-1 on that last pitch. There we go. Now the board's updated. Wind's starting to pick up a little bit from left to right. You can hear the Servite dugout getting into it. Santos gets his sign here from Bowen. Out of the stretch, here comes the 2-1. This one a high chopper over towards Romero. He will throw over to first, and that's all they'll get. Scott scores from third, and it's a 1-1 ball game as Servite ties it up. That goes 6-3 for a run batted in for Cluett. That puts runners at second and third now for Austin Rabago. Santos not out of it yet, as Romero made sure that he got the sure play over at first, and now the infield will head in towards the infield grass. Trying to cut off a ground ball and throw home to get Rodriguez. First pitch misses, and the count's 1 ball, no strikes. Another notable absence from the lineup today for the Friars is Kai Negretti. He's off to a bit of a slow start with the bat this year. Does have 4 runs batted in despite just 3 hits. We will definitely see him on the mound tomorrow night, though. He's already been penned as the number 2 starter. Here comes the 1-0, fouled off, fastball. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, Rodriguez at third. Over at second base is Aiden Avikhauser. As Servite has tied this thing up. They've matched the 1 run by the Lancers in the top of the second. Now the Friars looking for more here. Santos deals. This one a ground ball to the left-hand side. Picked up by Romero, and they've got Rodriguez in a rundown. He is tagged out by Bowen, who comes in off the plate. Huge out there for the Lancers. Safe at first is Rabago on a fielder's choice, and now with 2 outs, runners on the corners here for Jared Hawking. That's a 6-2 putout at the plate. Nice job by Romero to go around the ball, pick it up glove side, and then throw it to the plate. And before we get to this at-bat, looks like Eric Borba is going to call time and head over to the mound. Again, the Friars have tied it up, looking for more with runners on the corners and 2 outs. Their best hitter to date coming up to the plate for his second plate appearance. We'll be right back in just a moment with more action here from Servite. It's Lancers Baseball here on CA Sports Zone and the Coach's Radar. Well, friends, a sponsor of Orange Lutheran Baseball, Superior Truck Supply is the leading provider of family-owned heavy-duty truck parts in the Los Angeles and Orange counties. Once again, that's Superior Truck Supply. Everybody in for the meeting here as Santos gets a few words here from his head coach. Eric Borba will head back to the dugout. Again, he's in his 14th season here with the Lancers. Second most tenured coach in the Trinity League behind Jay Serra's Brett Kay. And you've got Sean Gilbert and Don Barbara with St. John Bosco. They're both in their 8th season this year. Chris Malik, I believe he's in his 3rd season. Make it his 4th season. And Richard Mercado at Mater Dei in his 3rd season. Right now, Servite trying to take the lead here as Hawking, who's 1 for 1, makes his way back to the plate. First pitch. Looked like a changeup there that dipped a bit low, and the count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. Again, Hawking 2 weeks ago, 5 for 5, 2 runs scored, 3 runs batted in, a pair of doubles for him in that championship game as Servite put up 19 runs against the Lakewood Lancers. Santos looks at first, fires to the plate. This one bounces in, and Bowen blocks it, looks at both runners before picking it up. Nobody moving. The count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 5'9", 180. Signed to play baseball at UCLA in his senior season. Quite a few Trinity League ball players representing at UCLA this year, as this one is in there for a called strike, 2-1. I believe Emmanuel Dean is still there for Servite. This year's team has 3 committed to the Bruins. Third one being Chris Grotus. 2-1 the count here on Hawking. Stands straight up in the box, right-hander. Lined a single to right center, to left center his first time up. Takes a wave and a miss and evens up the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 run on 2 hits and an error. 1 run on 1 hit and an error in this inning here for Servite. Looking to make it more with a runner at third base. Avikhauser waiting to come home. Rabago over at first. Here comes the 2-2. This one lifted into left field. Going back forward is Ryland. He's got a beat on it. Will make the catch well ahead of the fence out there in left center. And Santos gets out of the inning, giving up just 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 left on base. Servite has tied it up, however, and as we head to the top of the third, it's 1-1. Orange Lutheran and Servite all knotted up here on CA Sports Zone and the coach's radar. Top of the third inning we go here in Anaheim. Miles Scott helping his own cause by scoring a run in the bottom of the second as Servite ties it up. It's 1-1 here. So Orange Lutheran brings up the top of the order in the top of the third. Derek Curiel, Carson Bowen, and Mikey Romero. Quick 1-2-3 for them in the top of the first. See if they fare better here this time around against Miles Scott, who has given up 1 run on 1 hit through 2 innings. He struck out 1 and has walked 1 as well. Again, keep in mind, he's a freshman this year, 5'8", 140, and this is his first varsity start. It comes against one of the favorites in the Trinity League. Servite, of course, high on that list as well. As the left-hander kicks and deals here against Curiel. First pitch checked his swing, and that one is ruled inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Curiel grounded out to second baseman Augie Gutierrez. His first time up, he's 0 for 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the pitch, and this one a sharply hit line drive to Schmidt out and left, and it's over his glove. Curiel rounds first. He's going to head to second and stop there standing up. It's a leadoff double here for Orange Lutheran. That one was tailing on Schmidt, who initially went towards left center. Then at the last minute stuck the glove up as it just landed to the left-hand side, closer to the line. And Curiel gets on base for his first hit of the series. And will bring up Carson Bowen, who is 0 for 1. Fly ball out to right his first time up. Again, Curiel 5 for 10 last year in the series. It's really one of the main reasons that Orange Lutheran was able to take it 3 games to none over Servite last year. As the first pitch is in there for a called strike here on Bowen. It's 0-1. 6th hit of the year for Curiel. He's being held over there at second base by Augie Gutierrez. Carson Bowen awaits the 0-1 offering, and Scott will look over at Curiel. It's a dangerous base runner over there at second base. Bowen, who was hitting out of the 8th spot on Friday, was 0 for 3, and last week against Jay Serra had a couple of base hits. They've moved him up to the 2nd spot here today, hoping he might be able to turn it on this afternoon. He came in 5 for 21 on the year. RBI opportunity here with nobody out in the top of the 3rd. Right-hander. Feet about shoulder length apart. Here comes the 0-1. Shows bunt, pulls it back. It's low and outside. It's 1-1. Corner infielders did not crash coming in on that. Scott trying to get him to chase something outside. On deck, Mikey Romero. Again, wind still blowing left to right here. Scott holds the glove about chest high and will throw it back to second base, but Curiel back in sliding. 1 run, 2 hits for both of these teams after Curiel gets the double here to start the top of the 3rd. 1 error for the Lancers. Bowen's got a big gap in right center if he can go the opposite way. Again, that is the deepest part of the ballpark, though Jared Hocking isn't too far off of it. It's where Bowen went in the first inning and was robbed of a base hit by a nice running catch there by Joey Rossetti, who made a nice route to the baseball. Senior 5'11" catcher awaiting the 1-1. Here it comes. Shows bunt, gets it down the third base line. Curiel's going to head to third as it's uncovered, and not sure what happened there with Rubago, but he's unable to come up with it. Might have slipped on the grass, and that allows Bowen to make it to first base safely. So now runners on the corners with nobody out. Rubago a bit shaken up as he gets up, and head coach Sean Gilbert will check on him. Not sure if he lost his footing there or if his cleat got caught in the turf. Either way, he went down. Trotting it off just to make sure he's okay. He appears to be all right. And Scott will talk with the rest of the infield here as they continue to check on Rubago. So runners at first and third. See what they mark it. Likely an error here on Rubago. And now the Lancers have another opportunity here to take the lead for the second time in the ball game as Mikey Romero will make his way to the plate next. Hocking now in right center. Schmidt well off the line in left field. Almost to the 350 sign in left center. Miles Scott with some work to do here. Both men get their leads. Again, Curiel at third base. Over at first is Carson Bowen. Top of the third, nobody out. 1-1 ball game here as the first pitch is hammered on a line into right center. That's going to fall for a base hit. That's going to trickle all the way to the fence as Curiel scores. Bowen's being waved around, and Romero's going to head to third. The throw is offline. It bounces off the dugout. Romero initially thought about going home, but will stay there. And that's a two-run triple for Mikey Romero, his third triple of the season, and it gives the Lancers a 3-1 lead here in the top of the third. Be at least one RBI. We'll see if they give him two. Either way, the Lancers jump out ahead for the second time, and Casey Borba will be due up next. Nobody out, runner at third. Borba in the series last year, 1 for 6, 2 RBIs, a run scored. Also had a strikeout and a walk as he watches a changeup low and away. It's 1-0. Borba walked to lead off the second, would later come around to score the first run of the ball game. So far, he ranks second on the team with 6 walks as this one skips away from Avickhauser, but Romero didn't initially see where it went, so he stayed over at third. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Better safe than sorry. Servite looks like they'll have a pitcher heading down to the bullpen here in just a moment. See Andy Mike heading to the bullpen. We saw him in a long relief role early in the series last year. Infield drawn in here for Servite. 2 balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch. Fastball low, 3-0. Wind appears to have died down a little bit. Borba, right-hander with a slightly open stance. Here comes the pitch, and that one misses low. 4-pitch walk. Borba's on for the second time in as many innings, and the first 4 Lancers have reached here in the top of the third. Gabe Miranda will be due up next. And once again, Hocking will head out towards right center with Miranda being a pull hitter. And before we get to that point, Dwayne Page, the pitching coach here at Servite, will head out to have a chat here with Miles Scott in the infield. It's 3-1 with nobody out here in the top of the third. Runners on the corners for Orange Lutheran. And Gabe Miranda due up next. This is Lancers Baseball here on CA Sports Zone and the Coach's Radar. Well, friends, keep competing with McDavid, a proud sponsor of OLU Baseball. McDavid specializes in sports medicine, protective gear, and recovery items. Are you in need of ankle braces, knee supports, compression, and more? Then visit McDavidUSA.com and use promotion code OLU15 and receive 15% off your purchase. Once again, that's McDavidusa.com, and use promotion code OLU15 and receive 15% off your purchase. Long meeting here between Dwayne Page and the entire infield. Just now starts making his walk back over towards the dugout. Scott's given up 2 runs here in this inning. They're trying to turn things around here for him as Gabe Miranda steps in. He's also walked in the ball game back in the second. He was stranded at second base in that inning. Pulled a couple of balls on his first plate appearance. See if he can sit on one here as Romero awaits over at third. First pitch shows bunt, pulls it back. It's a breaking ball that misses. The count 1 ball, no strikes. So the Lancers trying to manufacture another run here perhaps. 6-3 Miranda committed to TCU. Open stance at the plate. Here comes the 1-0, shows bunt again, but pulls it back, and it's low. The count goes to 2-0. Each time, Romero scampering back to third base without a throw. Trevor Schmidt moving over towards left center once again here with Miranda at the plate. Two balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch from Scott. This one rifled foul once again to the right off the screen, and the count goes to 2-1. Just getting ahead of that pitch there is Miranda so far this afternoon. One of those guys who's a little bit more soft-spoken, but a leader by example, and his teammates really pull for him, as head coach said a couple of weeks ago. 2 balls, 1 strike, shows bunt again. This one he gets down the first base line. Could be 2. Rodriguez struggles with it a bit, bounces it to the plate, and Miranda will be safe. Heading to third is Borba as Romero scores from third. It's now 4-1 Orange Lutheran here in the top of the third inning. Rodriguez got to it and scooped it up with the glove, but then it popped out as he was looking to grab it with his bare hand and throw over to first. Had to rush a throw to try to get Miranda, and he bounced it into the second baseman, Augie Gutierrez, and once again Dwayne Page will head out and have another chat here, and this time he will take the ball from Miles Scott. So 2+ innings here, but Scott runs into trouble in the top of the third as 3 runs have come around to score. Runners still on the corners here for Orange Lutheran. And we'll see who the Friars bring in next. Believe it's going to be Andy Mike as Scott heads out to the field to man right field, I should say. And as Mike starts to warm up, we'll take a quick break. It's 4-1 Orange Lutheran here in the top of the third with nobody out. Runners on the corners. We'll be right back with more. This is Lancers Baseball here on CA Sports Zone and the Coach's Radar. So Servite makes a call to the bullpen here as we're in the top of the third inning. Nobody out, runners on the corners, already 3 runs across for Orange Lutheran. And Andy Mike will make an appearance here early on in the series for Servite. Did pretty well against Orange Lutheran last year in a couple of appearances. 2 1/3 innings of work. He gave up 1 earned run, 2 total on 3 hits. Did walk 3, didn't strike out anybody, but still he maintained and held the Lancers' order in check. As Servite will ask him to do the same here. Left-hander in his senior season. He's 6 foot 200 pounds. As a fastball, more of a slurve and a change-up, it appears. As he finishes his warm-up tosses, he will start against Brian Martinez, number 5 in the order here, as the first 5 Lancers have, number 6 in the order here, as the first 5 Lancers have reached here in the top of the third. Borba at third, over at first is Gabe Miranda. One error in the inning here for the Friars. As Martinez sacrificed back in the second inning and has not had an official at bat so far here today. Mike looks over at first, fires to the plate, showing bunt. He committed to it, but this one tailed in on him. It's 0-1. 5'11" is Brian Martinez. Commitment to Long Beach State University. He and Jonathan Rodriguez will be teammates again in a couple of years' time. Martinez, of course, a senior. Jonathan Rodriguez for Servite is a junior, as Mike will throw to first. They'll get Miranda in a rundown here, and Borba will stay at third, and Miranda gets it to second base safely, as Jonathan Rodriguez was more concerned about Borba over at third, and rightly so. But the entire time he held onto the baseball, he allowed Miranda to trot into second base safely, and now the Lancers have runners at second and third with nobody out. That'll bring the infield in here for Servite. Martinez still behind in the count, no balls and 1 strike. Mike, the left-hander, ready to go. Here's the pitch, and that one hits the outside edge to the right-hander. It's 0-2. Martinez did not play in the series last year. Another guy like Romero, who had to miss the first 30 days due to the transfer rule his junior season, but came in later in Trinity League play as Andy Mike kicks and deals. Fastball a bit upstairs, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ben Ryland on deck. Big inning here for the Lancers. 3 runs, nobody out still. They lead 4-1. Servite had some momentum after tying up the ball game in the bottom of the second. Here comes the 1-2. This one over the outstretched glove of Rabago and down the left field line. Borba scores. Here comes Miranda, and the Lancers tack on 2 more here in the top of the third. It's now 6-1. And again, at least 1 RBI there as Miranda reached on an error. And Orange Lutheran has opened this one up 6-1 as Ben Ryland makes his way to the plate. Martinez now at second base. And for the senior, his first double of the year, second extra base hit. So he came into the ball game batting 167. Maybe that's the double that gets him going this year as Ryland steps in. Mike kicks and deals. Swing and a miss. Fastball there, and the count goes to 0-1. 6 batters in the inning, and all have reached so far here in the top of the third. Roman Martin holding the runner over there at second base. The left-hander Mike kicks and deals 0-1. Shows bunt and pulled it back, did Ryland. Looked like he might have committed to it, but called a ball there as he jumped out of the way, and he shrugs it off over to his dugout. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Little Houdini action there, if you will, from Ben Ryland. Andy Mike kicks and deals. Here's the pitch. This one bunted but foul down the third base line, and the count goes to 1-2. Well, that call by the umpire of a ball on that second pitch, perhaps just an indication of the way things are going for Orange Lutheran here in this inning. The Lancers have scored 5 runs on 3 hits here in the inning. A couple of doubles and a triple. Here comes the 1-2. Breaking ball, called strike 3, let her high on the inside edge, and Ryland is retired for out number 1. So Mike's able to get an out here. That keeps the runner at second base and will bring up Chase Cummings. Oh for 1. Strikeout in the second inning is Cummings. That came against Miles Scott, who is now in right field. Joey Rossetti has been brought back into the dugout for Servite. Another left-hander on the mound, and Andy Mike. They get Martinez leaning the wrong way, and now he's caught in a rundown. And the second baseman Gutierrez will catch him as he dives into third. Nice move there by Mike, deceptive. Got Martinez looking the wrong way. And he's chased down there by Gutierrez, so that'll go 1-4. And that eliminates the base runner and makes it 2 outs with nobody on for Chase Cummings. Lefty kicks and deals. Here's the first pitch. Low. Fastball there. Counts 1-0. Andy Mike coming into the ball game today. Had pitched 2 2/3 innings of work. Had not allowed any runs on 3 hits. He had 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. Here comes the 1-0. That one hits the outside edge just above the knees. It's 1-1. Believe all of the runs to this point will be charged to Scott. Andy Mike had allowed the double to Martinez, who is now off the base paths as this pitch misses up and away, a breaking ball. It's 2-1. Kind of leans away from the plate with the leg kick and then turns it around and fires it home. Here it comes, 2-1, pardon me. This one a line drive and snagged out of the air on a leaping catch by Rabago at third. And that is how the inning will end. So a nice play by the third baseman there to rob Chase Cummings of a base hit, but the Lancers put up 5 runs on 3 hits, 1 error, and nobody left on base. We head to the bottom of the third. Orange Lutheran now with a 6-1 lead over Servite. This is Lancers Baseball here on CA Sports Zone and the Coach's Radar. Well, friends, established in 2002, veteran-owned and operated Innovative Career Resources and Staffing is one of Orange County's premier recruiting and staffing firms and a sponsor of OLU Baseball. If you're looking for great people for your company or looking to make a career move, contact Innovative Career Resources and Staffing at 714-508-8620. And Lancer fans and Servite fans as well, if you're looking for a summer high school level baseball program, join the Tustin Scorpions, whose focus is to help you get ready for your next high school season with 3 practices per week and weekend games. Join the Scorpion family. Heart of the order due up here for Servite in the bottom of the third. The Friars now have some work to do here as Augie Gutierrez, Roman Martin, and Trevor Schmidt will get things going here against Oliver Santos. This part of the order 0 for 3 the first time through. But if any part of the order to try to start a rally, this would be it. This Servite team has been very offensive so far in the first 5 games of the year. In that Loera tournament, they came away with a team batting average of .383 and amassed 21 extra base hits across 5 ball games. Twice in that tournament, they scored more than 15 runs. They had 16 against Fullerton in Game 3, and, of course, 18 against Lakewood in the 5th and final game of that tournament. But again, as head coach Sean Gilbert said, the 2-week layoff meant a decent amount of momentum lost coming into the season. He said they tried to keep them up with a couple of inner squads, and they tried to give them a couple of days off just to keep them focused on the task at hand. But again, the one question, or should say one of the questions for Servite was exactly how they were going to come out here for this one after having those 2 weeks off. Santos misses with the first, hits on the inside edge with a fastball here on Gutierrez. The count's 1-1. Ground out to third back in the first inning for Augie Gutierrez. Here comes the 1-1. Here's a ground ball to short, picked up by Romero, throwing to first on the run, and he gets him. Just hanging on there was Gabe Miranda with his foot on the bag. And that'll be out number 1 here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Roman Martin will be the next man up. Another nice play there by Romero. Backhand, throw on the run. Kind of perpendicular with the first base bag. And Miranda is able to keep the foot on the bag to retire the leadoff man for out number 1. First time that Servite has not had their leadoff man aboard. And now it'll be the dangerous Roman Martin due up next. Here comes the first pitch. In there for a called strike. It's 0-1. Martin's .615 batting average heading into the ball game today. He's played in 4 games. 8 for 13. 9 runs batted in, 4 of them in a grand slam. As this pitch comes in, a ground ball towards second. Cummings will pick it up in shallow right field. He throws over to first, and Martin is retired for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for Santos here in this inning. And Trevor Schmidt will be the next man up here for Servite. Santos ready to go here as Schmidt digs in. Bowen gets the sign here from his dugout. Santos with 1 strikeout to this point. Here comes the pitch, and that one's in there for a strike. Looked like about letter high on the outside edge. It's 0-1. Defense playing straight up here for Schmidt, who is 0 for 1 so far today. Here's a little nubber over towards the left side. Off the glove of Borba, into the glove of Romero, but the throw gets away from Gabe Miranda. Tried to scoop it and batted it back into the field of play, and Schmidt will be safe over at first on what will surely be an infield base hit. Looked like he might have had a chance to beat that one out regardless. 2 outs and a runner on base now here for Miles Scott. 1 for 1, he led off the bottom of the 2nd inning with a base hit. Here comes the pitch, bit of a delayed kick there for Santos as he gets one in there just above the knees for a strike. It's 0-1. 3rd hit of the ball game for the Friars there as Schmidt's on at first. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd, a 6-1 Lancer lead. This one got a good piece of it, but ahead of it, fouls it off the screen down the left field line, and the count goes to 0-2. For Schmidt, his 8th hit of the season. Really impressed with this freshman here, Miles Scott. Here comes the 0-2 upstairs. Count goes to 1-2. Kept pretty good poise on the mound, even though things fell apart a bit for him in the 3rd inning before he was replaced by Andy Mike. Now he is dealing here with Oliver Santos, one of the top committed left-handed seniors in California. This one a ground ball towards the left side again. Borba picks it up, fires on the run, and that one is in time to get Scott over at first for out number 3. So the Friars get a 2-out base hit by Trevor Schmidt, but can't move him anywhere. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We are through 3 here in Anaheim. It's Orange Lutheran 6 and Servite 1. This is Lancers Baseball on CA Sports Zone and the Coach's Radar. Top of the 4th inning we go. Orange Lutheran 6 and Servite 1. We're live in Anaheim at Servite High School for this one. As these two teams open up a 3-game set today, Orange Lutheran putting up a 5 spot in the top of the third. Noah Rodriguez, the only man who did not come to the plate for the Lancers in that frame. He starts off here in the top of the fourth as Andy Mike throws a strike about letter high and gets us started 0-1. Derek Curiel, Carson Bowen also due up in this inning. So Lancers sent 8 men to the plate in the top of the third and knocked out Miles Scott. Here's a check swing, but he went around on a pitch in the dirt. The count goes to 0-2. Noah Rodriguez, in his junior season, an outfielder and a second baseman. Seen him used primarily as a pinch runner so far this season as he fouls off an 0-2 offering and stays alive. Getting his first start of the year here today, and of course he wasn't necessarily in the initial starting lineup. They penned in Luis Rodriguez as the designated hitter, but wanted to see who the Friars were going to throw out there and use that number 9 spot as a situational position. Noah Rodriguez gets the call, and this fastball misses just a tad above the letter, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 6 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for Orange Lutheran. 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error for Servite through 3 innings so far. Here comes the 1-2. Beautiful breaking ball there. Gets him looking, and that'll be out number 1. Andy Mike started that one a bit outside, got it over the outside edge, and Rodriguez is called out on strikes. 1 out, nobody on. Back to the top of the order we go with Derek Curiel. Rodriguez relays what he learned over to Carson Bowen, who waits on deck. Curiel 1 for 2 with a run scored today. Led off the top of the third inning with a double. As he steps back in, that was his second extra base hit of the season. The left-hander, who's verbally committed to LSU, watches as that one hits the inside edge just above the knees. Count goes to 0-1. Here comes the offering. Curveball upstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike as Curiel shies away from it. Again, he started his 2022 campaign in the cleanup role. But after 1 game, they said, no, we need him at the top of the order. As he checked his swing there, but this one's called on the inside edge, and the count goes to 1-2. .300+ batting average his freshman season. 1-2 from Mike. Went after it. This one fouled off. Avickhauser could not hang on to it as it was foul tipped into the mitt. And Curiel stays alive. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hawking has moved a bit over towards right center, and again, Miles Scott in right field is a bit closer to the line. Wind starting to shift here at Servite. Here comes the pitch. This one fouled off to the left and off the screen. Watch out in that dugout there for Servite. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. So again, in the first game of the series last year, Andy Mike was asked to come in and slow down the Lancer offense after Xavier Cardenas went 1 1/3. This time around, he's asked to come in after Miles Scott starts and goes 2 innings. This one lifted into deep left center. Hawking chasing after it. He'll make the catch, sliding just in front of the fence in left center field. Nice work by the UCLA committed senior. And that robs Curiel of a base hit, and that'll be the 2nd out. That was a long run there for Hawking, and he's able to just get to it. And with 2 outs, nobody on, it'll be Carson Bowen due up next here for Orange Lutheran. Mike trying to turn things around, get a 1-2-3 inning, and let his offense come back up. Servite will have the 6, 7, and 8 batters due up in the bottom half of this inning. We're in the top of the 4th. 2 outs, a 6-1 lead here for Orange Lutheran as the first pitch misses outside to the right-hander Bowen. Reached on an error his last time up. This one lifted deep out towards left center. As Schmidt goes back forward, he'll have room out there, and he'll make the catch not far in front of the scoreboard. So a 1-2-3 inning for Andy Mike here in the top of the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We are halfway through this one. As Orange Lutheran leads Servite 6-1. We head to the bottom of the 4th in just a moment. This is Lancers Baseball on CA Sports Zone and the Coach's Radar. Well, baseball fans, have you imagined expanding your indoor-outdoor entertaining area to be that perfect place for pre- and post-game get-togethers? Then let B&W Windows and Doors assist you with all of your window and door replacement needs. They serve all of Orange County and surrounding areas while offering a premium custom product in a variety of colors and operations. Consultation is free and no obligation. Call them today at 714-941-9796 or visit their website, bwllco.com. That's B&W Windows and Doors. We mentioned beautiful day for a ball game here today. Thin cloud cover in the sky, but the sun is shining. So we get this one in on a Tuesday afternoon. Orange Lutheran 6, Servite 1 as Oliver Santos makes his way back to the mound here for the Lancers. He has allowed 1 run on 3 hits. Has struck out 1 and has hit 1 batter here today. Of course, the defense allowing another run on an error, on an error. As the Friars got to him in the bottom of the second inning for 1 run to tie up the ball game before the Lancers gave him some run support in the top of the third. And now he would be in line for the win if he can get through this inning and the score holds up. He'll face off against Jonathan Rodriguez, Aiden Avikhauser, and Camden Cluett as once again the Friars try to claw their way back in. This part of the order was 0 for 1 the first time around, but 2 of the 3 reached base. Rodriguez on a hit by pitch. Avikhauser reached on an error. And Camden Cluett had an RBI, make that 0 for 3, had an RBI ground out. So no hits yet for these 3, but still some production as Rodriguez, the Long Beach State commit, makes his way to the plate here for his second plate appearance. .375 batter heading into the ball game today. In the first 5 games, he was 6 for 16 with 4 extra base hits. First pitch from Santos is a fastball that hits knee high, about inside part of the plate. The count goes to 0-1. Rodriguez wears the number 3. 6'1", 210. Plays first base. Also a pitcher for the Friars as this fastball misses a bit outside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Wind starting to come in a little bit more from left field rather than blowing from left to right. 1 ball, 1 strike. Santos, the left-hander, kicks and deals. Breaking ball called a strike, and the count goes to 1-2. Defense playing straight up here for Orange Lutheran. Santos, by the way, that run given up in the second inning was the first all year for him. Here comes the pitch. Upstairs, it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. He had tossed 15-plus innings of work before allowing that run to score. Luis Rodriguez, who will likely pitch on Wednesday, much the same. Here comes the 2-2. Swung on and missed. Got him with a breaking ball there, and Rodriguez is out for the first out here in the inning. Second strikeout of the ball game for Santos, and with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th, Aiden Avikhauser, the next man up. Avikhauser 0 for 1, reached on an error but was stranded at second base. First pitch coming from Santos. That one's a bit outside to the right-hander. Count is 1 ball and no strikes. I haven't mentioned it yet, but Santos committed to Duke University. A Blue Devil headed out to North Carolina after this season. This one lifted to center field. Curiel will camp under it and make the routine play for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down for Santos here in the bottom of the 4th. Camden Cluett, the sophomore, will be the next man up. 1 for 5 coming into the ball game in limited action. Likely in the lineup with, Negretti out of the lineup. This one swung on and missed. Count goes to 0-1. Cluett with the lone RBI for the Friars today as he watches a fastball miss a bit off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, defense just playing straight up here for Orange Lutheran. Santos starting to pick up the pace a little bit. Slider there, just a bit upstairs, and the count goes to 2-1. Orange Lutheran in the top of the 5th inning will have the heart of the order due up. Mikey Romero to lead things off. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. This one lifted to right field. And that will be Brian Martinez territory as he camps under it and makes the catch for out number 3. So like Andy Mike in the top half of the inning, Oliver Santos sets him down 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. And after 4 innings of play here at Servite High School, 6-1, Orange Lutheran over Servite. This is Lancers Baseball here on CA Sports Zone and the Coach's Radar. Top of 5 we go here at Servite High School. Orange Lutheran with a 6-1 lead over the Friars is Mikey Romero to lead things off. First pitch swinging, a line drive to right center. That's going to fall for extra bases as it one-hops the wall. Round second, he's going to try for his second triple of the ball game, and he will get there as the throw gets away. And now he's going to head home. Throw comes in from foul territory, and he will score. Mikey Romero motoring around the bases makes it 7-1 Orange Lutheran, as that he will get there as the throw gets away, and now he's going to head home. Throw comes in from foul territory, and he will score. Mikey Romero motoring by Miles Scott, allowing him to score from third, so 7-1. As Mikey Romero goes all the way around the bases to open things up. First pitch to Borba is a miss outside, a breaking ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. Borba has walked twice. He's scored twice so far today. By the way, Gabe Miranda also due up in this inning as Borba takes a big swing, comes up empty. It's 1-1. And now Brian Martinez due up in the inning as well for Mikey Romero. The second run scored by him this afternoon is hit the 5th of the ball game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the pitch, and that one misses a bit low. It's 2-1. Of the 5 hits for Orange Lutheran, only 1 of them is a single today. And that was Ben Ryland back in the second inning. Here comes the 2-1. Lifted into left field. Back goes Schmidt. He's going to look up, and he's going to watch that one fly. Home run, Casey Borba. And it's now 8-1 Orange Lutheran. First homer of the season for the junior, second total for the Lancers this year, as they continue to add on here in the top of the 5th, 8-1. First homer of the season for the junior, second total for the Lancers this year, as they continue to add on here. Sign in left center field. Here comes the 1-0. That one misses a bit outside. It's 2 balls and no strikes. So much like the opener against Jay Serra last week, Orange Lutheran putting up runs early in the series here against Servite. Hit number 6 for the Lancers today as Miranda takes a swing and a miss at a ball low. It's 2-1. Certainly seems like they were a bit fired up after taking their first loss of the year last week on Friday. Here comes the 2-1. Another swing and a miss and a fastball a bit low in the zone, 2-2. Mike trying to bounce back after the first two have come around to score here for Orange Lutheran in the inning. Lefty kicks and deals. That's a good way to do it. Curveball swing and a miss, and Miranda's down on strikes for out number one. One away, nobody on. Brian Martinez, the next man up. He's 1 for 1. RBI double his last time up, back in the third. And he sacrificed in the second, which then led to Ben Ryland's RBI base hit. Sawyer Vortman makes his way on deck. He'll hit for Ryland in the inning, as this fastball misses just a hair outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Martinez is double down the left field line. So the 1-0 comes in. That one misses low. 2 balls and no strikes. Appears they want Mike trying to get them through this inning. This is his third inning of work, though it does look like there was a signal that just came out from the bullpen, Here's a ground ball to the hole on the left side. Picked up on a backhand by Martin. Strong throw, and the foot came off the bag there for Rodriguez, and Martinez will be safe over at first. I believe that'll go as an error on Martin. So the throw might have pulled Rodriguez off the bag, and that'll keep things going here for Vortman. Still 1 out. And the Lancers with another runner over at first. Vortman 0 for 3 against Jay Serra on Friday. A couple of strikeouts and and he reached on an error. Comes into today's action batting .375, 6 hits, 16 at bats. Has a go-ahead RBI to his credit this year. As the senior waits for the first pitch from Mike. It's outside as Avikhauser is out of his stance and looks down to first, but no throw. 1 ball and no strikes. Mike out of the stretch, does not check the runner. Here comes the pitch. Another ground ball through the hole on the left side. Vortman's got a base hit as Martinez stops at second base. That puts runners at first and second here for Orange Lutheran. Still 1 out. Chase Cummings will be the next man up. So Vortman comes in, bats for Ryland, and collects a base hit. A couple of ground balls to the left-hand side here in this inning. Again, Romero started with a triple to deep right center for the second time in the ball game, and a throwing error allowed him to come home to score in the very same play. Casey Borba followed with a long home run to left center field. It's the first pitch here on Cummings. Bounces in. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Miranda struck out. Brian Martinez reached on an error, and now Vortman, a base hit. So 4 of the first 5 have reached base here for the Lancers here in this frame. Big inning so far for Orange Lutheran was the third, in which they scored 5. And in that inning, the first 6 reached base for Orange Lutheran. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the pitch. This one blooped down the right field line, and that will fall. They'll stop Martinez at third, and that'll load the bases as Scott does a good job of getting the ball back in. And Scott also might have fooled the base runners there by putting the glove up as if he had a play on it. And that likely kept Martinez from coming around to score. So back-to-back base hits from Vortman and now Cummings. And now Richard Tejeda will make his way to the plate here in this designated hitter spot. Orange Lutheran once again showing what they can do when the lineup is working. And it looks like Dwayne Page is going to make another call to the bullpen here as he heads out here for Andy Mike. Orange Lutheran will bring everybody in to have a chat, and there will be another left-hander coming out of the bullpen. Third pitcher of the ball game coming in here for the Friars. As Andy Mike's day is done, he goes 2 1/3 innings of work. And looked like he had some momentum in the 4th inning, but This call to the bullpen brings out Chris Grotus for the Friars. He's the third left-hander that the Lancers will face off against here today. He inherits a couple of base runners with one out here in the top of the fifth. And the Friars down 8-1, looking to get their offense back up so they can try to get back into this one. Richard Tejeda will be the first man that Grotus faces off against here in the inning. And some numbers on the left-hander. 6 innings of work so far this season. 4 earned runs, 4 total on 6 hits. He's struck out 5 and walked 5. He is 2-0, but he's got a 4.66 ERA as he heads into this one. Boy, he had a lot of eyes on him early in his Servite career. He lost his junior season last year to an ACL injury, only a couple of starts for him, and then he had some discomfort in his knee. First pitch is popped up foul by Tejeda, and the count goes to 0-1. Hasn't quite refound his form yet this year, according to head coach Sean Gilbert, as they bring him out here to get him some work. Did toss a couple innings in the championship game against Lakewood at Glover Field in Anaheim, as this pitch, a slider in there for a strike, and he's ahead 0-2. In that game, 2 innings of work, he allowed 1 earned run on no hits, 3 strikeouts and 2 walks against the Lakewood Lancers. He was the first out of the bullpen, and therefore he was awarded the victory in that ball game. His time is called here by Tejeda. No balls, 2 strikes. Grotus, the UCLA-signed left-handed pitcher. He's 6'3", 210 pounds. He's got Sawyer Vortman over at second base, Chase Cummings at first. 8 runs on 7 hits for the Lancers here in this one. Here comes the 0-2. This one outside, and neither of the runners is going, as Avikhauser is able to get to it. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pardon me, the bases were loaded. My mistake. Martinez comes around to score. Not sure if they called a balk there on Grotus, but either way, everybody moved up 90 feet. And now it's a 9-1 Orange Lutheran lead. I apologize. I was looking at Tejeda. Did not even see Martinez was still over at third. So the score now 9-1. As the 1-2 comes in from Grotus upstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tejeda this season, 0 for 3 in limited action with a run scored. Right-handed bat, he's in his junior season. He's the second in command at the catcher position behind Carson Bowen. Watches a slider just off the outside edge, and the count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Grotus working out of the stretch. High leg kick, here comes the pitch. This one a little bit low, but chopped towards second base, picked up by Gutierrez. He gets the out at first, but meanwhile, Vortman comes around to score. And it's now Grotus working out of the stretch. High leg kick, here comes the pitch. This one a little bit low, but chopped towards second base, picked up by Gutierrez. He gets the out at first, but with Derek Curiel. Lefty on lefty matchup here. Curiel so far today, 1 for 3, a double back in the third and a run scored. That was sandwiched in between a ground out to second and a fly ball out to center. Here comes the first pitch, and that one's inside edge for a strike, just below the letter, and the count is 0-1. Bowen on deck in the bottom of the inning. It'll be 9-1-2 due up for the Friars. Austin Rabago to lead things off. We'll see who the Lancers put out there, whether it be Santos or they go to the bullpen. Here comes the 0-1, and that one misses upstairs. It's 1-1. High leg kick, nearly a sidearm delivery for Grotus. 3/4, if you can call it that. Kind of in between, really. He sets. Here comes the 1-1, and this one is lined into center. That's going to fall for a base hit. Cummings comes around to score. Curiel will stop at first as it goes right to Jared Hawking out there in center, and it's now 11-1 Orange Lutheran. He sets. Here comes the 1-1, and this one is lined into center. That's going to fall for a base hit. Cummings comes around to score. Curiel will stop at first as it goes right to Lancers with 11 here today. Just the second time this season they put up double-digit runs. Here comes the first pitch. That one bounces in. Avicauser looks down at first to Curiel, who's not going anywhere. Great pick there as well as he gets it in the glove. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. Grotus looks over to first and will fire over there as Curiel steps back. Not the hardest throw there from the left-hander. And Sean Gilbert said before the game that this series would come down to what both teams do on the mound, and right now the Lancers have the edge, at least here in game number 1, as that pitch misses a bit low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Kai Negretti versus Luis Rodriguez most likely tomorrow night. Servite showing off their luxury of left-handed pitching so far here today and early tomorrow. 2-0, that one's inside as well. It's 3 balls and no strikes here on Carson Bowen. 9th man to bat here in the frame for Orange Lutheran. Mikey Romero on deck. He started things off with that triple and came around to score on a throwing error. 3 balls, no strikes. Here comes the offering from Grotus, and that one's in there for a called strike. It's 3-1. Bowen not even a thought to offer at that one as he awaited a strike thrown. Now a favorable count, 3 balls, 1 strike, and this one in there for a called strike as well. It's full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Again, Curiel at first, 2 outs, a full count here on Carson Bowen. 5 runs across here for Orange Lutheran on 5 hits and 1 error committed by the Friars. Here comes the payoff. This one lined out towards left. Schmidt going back for it. Leaps up. It pops out of the glove. Curiel rounds third. He's going to head home to score. Strong throw just a bit late there from the shortstop Martin as Carson Bowen pulls into second. And the inning will continue. 12-1. The score in favor of Orange Lutheran. Here comes up, it pops out of the glove. Curiel rounds third. He's going to head home to score. Strong throw just a bit late there from the shortstop Martin as Carson Bowen pulls into second to home, but just a bit late there from Roman Martin. And now Mikey Romero, who started the inning off, will have another opportunity here. Here comes the pitch from Grotus, and that one skips away from the catcher Avicauser. Bowen heads to third. It's 1-0. Orange Lutheran with 9 hits, 6 of them going for extra bases here today as the 1-0 comes in, chopped hard down the line and foul to the right side. The count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 triples, both off the bat of this man here, Mikey Romero. 3 doubles on the day, Curiel, Bowen, and Martinez, and the home run by Casey Borba earlier in this inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. This one fouled off straight back. It's 1-2 as that one was a bit up in the zone. Romero came in batting .308, 8 for 26. He's 2 for 3 on the day, 2 runs scored, an RBI. Started the day by flying out to left. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bowen at third, 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Upstairs with the breaking ball. It's 2-2. Borba is on deck. If it continues past him, Gabe Miranda, who struck out for the first out in this inning, would also come up in the frame. 2-2, here's the pitch. Swung on and missed as Grotus gets the Friars out of the inning with a slider that Romero could not find up in the zone, and that will do it. But the Lancers put up 6 runs on 6 hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on base. After 5.5 here at Servite High School, this one is wide open now. 12-1, Orange Lutheran over Servite in Game 1 of this 3-game set. You're listening to Lancers Baseball on CA Sports Zone and watching it on the Coach's Radar. Well, baseball fans, are you ready for a front or backyard makeover? Premier Outdoor Builders can help you design and build a stunning front yard or backyard of your dreams. Trusted by Lancer families to handle their outdoor living needs, Premier Outdoor Builders can handle your next outdoor living project. From custom pools, patio covers, barbecues, fire features, hardscapes, and driveways, they will handle all your design and build needs. Find them on Instagram at Premier Outdoor Builders. And mention this ad when you call to get a free 3D rendering of your next project and have your deposit waived. Once again, find them on Instagram at Premier Outdoor Builders and mention this ad when you call to get a free 3D rendering of your next project and have your deposit waived. So after a long sit in that top of the fifth inning, Oliver Santos back out to continue his outing here in the bottom of the fifth. He'll face off against Austin Rabago, Jared Hawking, and Augie Gutierrez. And for Santos so far today, he's gone 4 innings of work. He's allowed 1 run on 3 hits. Couple of strikeouts for him today. No walks, but he has hit a batter. Yet another efficient start here for the left-hander committed to Duke as he completes the warm-up time. So the third baseman will head to the plate here. Try to turn things over here for the top of the lineup. 12-1 the score. Orange Lutheran with 5 runs in the third and 6 in the fifth. They plated their first run in the top of the second inning. First pitch shows bunt. Does Rabago, gets it down the third base line, but it'll trickle foul. And the count goes to 0-1. Pretty good attempt there as it bounced on the line initially, but then went to the left of the third base line. He'll head back, and as we mentioned, behind in the count, no balls, 1 strike. No wind to speak of out in left center, although we can feel a slight breeze here just to the first base side of the backstop. Cloud cover starting to become a little bit more pronounced as we're a little under the shade here with the clouds out in left field as the 0-1 comes in, popped up foul and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes here on Austin Rabago. .429 batting average heading into the contest today, 6 for 14. Tied for second on the team with 6 runs scored early in the season. That was a staple for Servite through that low-era tournament. They had scored 51 runs through 5 games as this pitchman stays upstairs. And the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Don't let the score fool you. This is a good Servite team. And they will provide a challenge the rest of the way, especially with Kai Negretti on the mound tomorrow. As the 0-2 comes in, that was a 1-2 pitch, and this one swung on and missed. And Rabago is down for out number 1. So back to the top of the order we go. Jared Hawking due up next. He's 1 for 2 on the day so far. Again, Negretti has been the Friars' most consistent pitcher, perhaps, over the last season plus. Last year, he went 6 innings strong and gave up just 1 run late in the ball game, and that proved to be all the Lancers needed for a 1-0 victory as the first pitch is in there for a strike here on Hawking. It's 0-1. This year, he's allowed 1 run on 12 innings of work. Here comes the 0-1. That one slips out of the hand there of Santos, a breaking ball, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Negretti's 2-0 this year. 13 strikeouts, 1 walk. He has faced off against San Juan Hills and El Medina so far. Here's a swing and a miss on a fastball up in the zone. And the count on Hawking is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Really talented ball player at the top of the order here for Servite. Came in batting .650. 4 doubles and a single, 13 base hits through 5 games. Here comes the 1-2. This one off the inside part of the bat, right to Miranda, who will make the catch at first base. And Hawking is retired for out number 2. Take that back. They're going to award Hawking first base. I apologize. I did not see what the call was there. Only thing I can think of is maybe catcher's interference. Have to see if we can get somebody to explain that one to us. Went to put his score in the scorebook and looked up. Next thing I know, he's heading down to first. So that puts a runner at first here for Servite with one out, and Santos will fire over to first. Keep him honest there as he slides back in safely. Augie Gutierrez at the plate, couple of ground balls his first two plate appearances. Both to the left side, one to the shortstop and one to third baseman Casey Borba. Here comes the pitch, and that fastball's in there for a strike, 0-1. Santos has been pretty efficient today and getting first pitch strikes and staying ahead of batters. It's really the only trouble he got into, at least to this point today, was in the second inning, as this one is waved and missed. Good changeup there. Count goes to 0-2. That was when the first three reached safely for Servite. A single by Miles Scott. Jonathan Rodriguez was hit by a pitch, and Aiden Avicauser reached on an error to load the bases with nobody out. Santos allowed an RBI ground out by Camden Cluett, but was able to get out of the inning otherwise. Here's a fly ball down the line and right. Rushing for it is Martinez, but he won't get there as it lands in foul territory. And the count remains 0-2. Gutierrez will head back to the plate again. He was the one who put Servite ahead 3-0 in the Saturday game last year with that 2-run home run. And John Legg, our videographer, coming over to tell us it was catcher's interference. The bat of Hawking got caught up in the glove of Bowen, which is why he's now at first. Here's the 0-2 to Gutierrez, swung on and missed. And that's another strikeout here for Santos, second out of the inning. And with 2 outs and a runner at first, Roman Martin will be the next man up. Upstairs with what looked like a fastball there from Santos. And after having just 1 strikeout in the first 3 innings, he's now got 4, with 3 in the last inning and 2/3. Santos looks at first, fires to the plate, check swing, but he went around. And it goes to 0-1. Pretty close there from Roman Martin. No appeal down to first, however. Martin was hoping for one, didn't get it. Count goes to 0-1. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th, a 12-1 Orange Lutheran lead. Hawking gets a lead over at first. He's got 4 stolen bases on the year. Santos, 0-1. This one grounded towards third. Borba picks it up, throws to second. And they get Hawking over there before he gets to the bag for the final out of the inning. So a fielder's choice ends it here in the bottom of the 5th as the Friars go down, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We're through 5 here at Servite High School. It's 12-1 Orange Lutheran over the Friars. This is Lancers Baseball here on CA Sports Zone and the Coach's Radar. Top of the 6th inning we go here in Anaheim as Orange Lutheran leads Servite 12-1, and it looks like we're going to see some of the reserves coming in here for the Lancers as Eric Borba heads to the home plate umpire to relay some of those changes. Ryan Irwin will lead things off for Orange Lutheran here in the top of the 6th. We'll see who else comes in for Orange Lutheran. We're in the middle of the lineup, as this part of the order would be Casey Borba, Gabe Miranda, and Brian Martinez. Those 3 combined scored 5 runs today. Borba was 1 for 1 with a home run and a pair of walks. As the first pitch misses here from Grotus, who's back on the hill for Servite. Count goes to 1-0. Irwin has 2 at-bats on the year. He's looking for his first base hit. He's a senior, listed as a first baseman and an outfielder. As this one is popped up, that'll get out of play and land on the track adjacent to the first base line. 1 ball and 1 strike. Looks like J.J. Robles is on deck, the junior left-hander. Will get an opportunity as Grotus fires 1-1. Check swing. It's in there anyway, and it's 1-2. 1 run in the second, 5 in the third, and 6 in the fifth for Orange Lutheran. Servite scored its 1 run in the bottom of the second to tie things up as this one fouled off the end of the bat. And the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, Grotus pitched in 2 games last year before he was sidelined the rest of the year with an ACL tear as the 1-2 comes in, and that one's a bit outside. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. He started 1 game this year, came out of the bullpen against Lakewood. And now he's come out of the bullpen a second time here against Orange Lutheran. 2-2, again up and away. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Again, as we mentioned, the starters were projected for Servite to be Xavier Cardenas, Kai Negretti, and Chris Grotus, but 2 out of those 3 have been struggling so far this season as this one misses. And after starting Ryan Irwin off 1-2, he walks him here. And that'll put the leadoff man aboard here for Orange Lutheran with J.J. Robles due up next. First walk allowed for Grotus in the outing. Robles batting in the spot of Gabe Miranda here, the left-hander. With a wide stance at the plate. Has 1 at bat. He's 0 for 1 so far this season. Watches a fastball a bit low, and the count goes to 1-0. Again, this was a pitcher who was really turning heads his first 2 seasons here at Servite. And again, after that season loss last year, just trying to regain that form as this one bounces away from Avikhauser. Staying at first is Irwin after it got a good kick off of the backstop. 2 balls and no strikes. He's got good size, 6'3". And again, he's got a arm slot that can cause fits for opposing batters, especially left-handers. Grotus looks over at first briefly, fires to the plate, 2-0, popped up to the left side, out of play. And the count goes to 2-1. Robles looks to be about 6'2". And on deck is Jacob Parita here for the Lancers. 12 runs on 9 hits, 1 error for Orange Lutheran. 1 run on 3 hits, 3 errors for the Friars. Here comes the 2-1. This one lifted into shallow left center. And it looks like Hawking is going to take control and make the catch in front of Trevor Schmidt for out number 1. So Hawking coming in hot from center field. Make sure that that one doesn't hit the grass. And with 1 out and a runner at first, Jacob Parita will be the next man up. Vortman on deck. He'll bat in Ben Ryland's spot for the second time. Ryland finishes the day 1 for 2 with an RBI single. Here comes the first pitch on the left-hander Parita. This one down the third base line, but foul. Good line drive swing there, but again, just hooked foul down towards the bag and out of the reach there of Austin Rabago. As Parita falls behind 0-1. Parita this season has 1 base hit and 1 at bat. It was a 2-run base hit. I believe it was a single. As he takes a hack through the 0-1 offering and falls behind 0-2. He's also scored a run this season, so a good start here for the senior catcher. Left-handed bat. Here comes the 0-2. This one lifted lazily out towards right center. That's going to find a hole. Irwin will head to second base. Parita stops at first, and the Lancers have 2 base runners here with 1 out for Sawyer Vortman. That one just out in that Bermuda Triangle out there in right center field. A little bit too deep for the second baseman Gutierrez and right in between Scott and Hawking. in right and center. That'll be the 10th hit of the ballgame for the Lancers, and now Vortman, who already has a single in the ballgame and a run scored, will be due up next. First at bat here against Grotus. His single came in the 5th against Andy Mike. Even stance at the plate for him. Here comes the first offering, fouled off the screen to the right, and the count is 0-1. Again, so many improvements to this field here. There's an all-brick backstop now with padding directly behind home plate. Artificial turf around the home plate area, all the way towards the dugouts before it turns into natural grass and dirt about halfway down the lines. Here comes the 0-1. Skips in, and that one stays within reach there for Avikhauser. Both runners stay. It's 1-1. Used to be entirely chain link fence behind home plate and down the right and left field lines. Now it's netting. Much easier to see through, and of course they had a structure directly behind home plate. So the 1-1 comes in. That one skips away from Avikhauser again. This time both runners will try to advance. The throw to third, and Irwin slides in safely. As moving up to second base is Purita, and the Lancers have 2 in scoring position here with 1 out. 2-1 the count here on Sawyer Vortman as well. But again, that structure was, believe it was a snack shack in the bottom story, and then above they had the press area along with the PA system. So the 2-1 comes in, and that one's in there for a strike, 2-2. Now they've got the PA system underneath a pop-up tent down the third base line. Really opened it up for people to sit directly behind home plate, and they've added 3-layer bleachers all the way around as well. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Grotus, up and away on the right-hander. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The count goes full. Again, a lot of good work here for this program, making beaucoup changes to their facility here. Of course, they still have the batting cages down the third base line. Here comes the payoff pitch, right back up the middle. Grotus looks at third, will fire to first to get Vortman. No harm, no foul for Servite as both runners stay. And with 2 outs, next man up will be Tanner Wilcoxon. Nice easy play there for Grotus. Into the glove, right between the legs on the mound. And again, a good job to make sure he looked at Irwin back to third base before he fired over to first. 2 outs, runners remain at second and third. Now Tanner Wilcoxon will step in. He's got 1 plate appearance this season. He's 1 for 1. Right-handed batter. He's listed as an infielder. And in his junior season, he swings at the first pitch. This one down the right field line, and that'll trickle foul just out of the reach there of Miles Scott, who was chasing after it. 0-1 the count. Decent amount of foul territory, especially down that right field line. A little bit less so down the left field line. Tanner Wilcoxon, about 6'1" in his junior season, 170 pounds. Right-hander, maybe a slightly open stance as he stands mostly straight up in the box. Grotus will call for time here. 6'3" senior left-hander trying to get out of this 6th inning without allowing any runs. Here comes the 0-1. Downstairs, it's 1 ball and 1 strike. For Servite, in the bottom of the inning, it'll be Trevor Schmidt to lead things off. Miles Scott, Jonathan Rodriguez due up in the inning as well. Jared Hawking in right center field, or towards right center field. Again, Grotus awaits his sign, steps off the rubber. Time called there by Wilcoxon. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the pitch. This one a ground ball towards second base. Should do it here as Gutierrez picks it up, fires to first. And that will be the 3rd out here in the top of the 6th inning. The Lancers go down quietly. No runs on 1 hit. No errors and 2 left on base. We are through 5.5 here at Servite High School. And the score, Orange Lutheran 12. come on in or shop online at clarksap.com. That's clarksap.com. And remember, at Clark's, we discount the discount. And Lancer fans, Bellflower Collision, where quality is no accident, is an authorized repair shop for Norm Reeves Honda, the #1 Honda dealer in the world. Visit them at bellflowercollision.com. Bellflower Collision. So we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Lancers lead 12-1, and Oliver Santos, his day is done. He goes 5 innings of work, allows 1 run on 3 hits. He struck out 4, and he did not walk a batter, although he did hit 1 batter today, so another solid outing for Oliver Santos. He stands in line for his 2nd win of the season. And now they turn it to the bullpen. It'll be Brock Worthgen who will step in. The junior right-handed pitcher will make his first appearance on the mound for Orange Lutheran this year. And he will face off against the middle of the order here for the Servite Friars. Trevor Schmidt, Miles Scott, Jonathan Rodriguez due up in this frame. As the Friars have scored 1 run, it was back in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Miles Scott, who was due up 2nd in this frame, was the one who got that opportunity started with a leadoff single. So now Brock Worthgen making his first appearance here. Scribes something in the dirt on the back of the mound before he makes his way to the pitching stripe here. Right-hander holds the glove just to the right side of his head. Gets a sign here from Carson Bowen, first pitch. That one's just a bit inside to the left-hander. Counts 1 ball and no strikes. Trevor Schmidt today is 1 for 2. He singled back in the 3rd, a 2-out base hit, but was stranded there. It's Worthgen, the traditional wind-up and deal. This one also a bit inside, and the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Schmidt, a left-hander, even stance at the plate. He's signed to play baseball at the University of Arizona next year. 2-0, ground ball back up the middle. That'll be the second baseman, Wilcoxon, who can't quite pick it up. And safe at first will be Trevor Schmidt. So leadoff man aboard here for the Friars. That'll bring up Miles Scott with nobody out. Wilcoxon looked like he might have gotten a bit of a late jump to that ball. Tried the backhand and couldn't secure it there, but kept it in the infield. So Schmidt safely aboard at first, and now Miles Scott, who is 1 for 2 at the plate. Worthgen now out of the stretch. Here comes the pitch. Fastball a bit outside, and the count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. They have not signaled whether they think that's a base hit or an error. Go with an error on our end here, as if Wilcoxon does collect it, he likely has a play over at first. And certainly enough, they do. So 2 errors now for Orange Lutheran today as the 1-0 pitch is up and in on the right-hander, and the count goes to 2-0. 5'8", 140. His freshman season, Miles Scott was the one who got the start on the mound today. 2-0 upstairs as well. 3 balls and no strikes. And Eric Borba is going to trot out to the mound here to try to settle down his right-handed reliever. Again, 3-0. We're here in the the bottom of the 6th inning. 12-1 the score. The Friars have gotten their leadoff man aboard. Worthgen with some work to do here to try to prevent it from being the first 2 reaching base safely. Meeting is quick there from Borba. And Worthgen goes down to a squat on the mound as he gets his sign from Bowen. 3 balls, no strikes. Here comes the pitch, and that one is in there for a called strike, 3-1. Maybe a little excited there with those 2 fastballs that stayed up above the zone. Worthgen now working quickly, 3-1. Good hitters count here for Scott. Fastball popped up, and that will get out of play. Watch out on the right side as that one hits the bleachers. Thankfully, nobody hit by that baseball as it somehow squirted out from the netting behind home plate. Count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Schmidt over at first. Here comes the payoff pitch. This one a ground ball to short. Romero picks it up to second for 1, and Wilcoxon drops it. They do call him out, and they say that the drop was on the transfer. So Schmidt is retired at second base, and safe at first is Miles Scott on a fielder's choice. So it goes 6-4 Perhaps some nerves there for Wilcoxon at second base to start this defensive inning here, as he's been involved in the first two plays. And Jonathan Rodriguez will be the next man up here for Servite. One out. Worthgen, after that talking to from Borba, has settled in a bit as this fastball stays upstairs. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Temperature starting to dip here as more clouds start to come in from beyond left field, as this one is swung on and missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wind again is picked up from left to right here. Jonathan Rodriguez so far today, 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch back in the second, and he struck out swinging his last time up in the fourth. Left-handed bat. Favorable matchup here for the batter with the right-hander on the mound. Here comes the pitch, and this one lifted into center field. That chases Curiel back a couple of steps, but he camps under it to make the catch for the second out of the inning. Going back to first is Miles Scott. So Rodriguez now 0 for 2 on the day. Curiel's able to make the grab in center, and with 2 outs and a runner at first, it'll be Aiden Avickhauser due up next. Smile and an exchange of a bat there with Carson Bowen before he steps in. Avickhauser today has reached on an error and flied out to center. He's 0 for 2. Scott's still over at first. Let's see if they put him in motion as the first pitch is in there for a strike, despite the fact that Worthgen slipped there on his plant foot. Some talent right there. You have a misstep on the mound and you're still able to hit the strike zone. 0-1. Here comes the 0-1 offering upstairs. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Worthgen talking to himself a little bit on the mound in this inning as well. Again, between pitches, he kind of squats down, holds the ball a couple of inches above the ground, and his glove right underneath his chin as he peers in for the sign from Bowen. Comes right back up. Fires a 1-1 fastball about knee-high on the outside edge. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Almost Craig Kimbrell-esque in a sense without fanning the throwing arm out there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. This one a breaking ball. Lined into center. Curiel initially went back, but then comes back and camps under for the final out of the inning. So Brock Worthgen comes in and sits down the Friars. He faces 4 batters, and they go down no runs, no hits, 1 error. And 1 man left on base. We are through 6 here at Servite High School. It's still 12-1 Orange Lutheran over the Friars. This is Lancers Baseball on CA Sports Zone and the Coach's Radar. Welcome back to Servite High School. We head to the top of the 7th inning. Orange Lutheran 12, Servite 1. As we're in game 1 of this 3-game set between these two. They'll meet again tomorrow night at Hart Park, 7 p.m. start. And they'll close it out here on Friday afternoon, 3:15 p.m. at Servite High School. If you can't make either of those games, make sure to tune in. We'll have it live for you, either audio-only form or audio and video via Mixler.com and the Coach's Radar through YouTube.com. So we head to the top of the 7th inning. New pitcher on the mound here for Servite. First right-hander of the day for the Friars. It'll be Xavier Cardenas, the senior 6'7", 210-pound right-hander. He's committed to San Diego State University, and when he's on, he's got explosive stuff. The issue for him has been throwing strikes. It was an issue last year in Game 1 in this series, and so far this year he has a 1.40 ERA in 5 innings of work. He's struck out 9, but he's also walked 9. He's allowed 5 runs, only 1 of which were earned on 3 hits. But again, if he can get it right, he's definitely talented and could provide a problem for the Lancers, at least here in this 7th inning today, as Richard Tejeda will get things started. And then we head back to the top of the order, where it looks like Ryan Irwin will bat second. Or pardon me, Jake Fuentes, will bat second. So Xavier Cardenas, again, he stands tall on the mound. He's 6'7". For Lancer fans, think Christian Rodriguez from a few years ago, class of 2020. He was a 6'7". Right-handed pitcher, first pitch. This one bounces in the dirt, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Can throw it into the low 90s, can Cardenas. And there were times in his start against the Lancers last year where he overpowered a couple of batters. As this fastball misses outside, the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. But for this senior, it's just about keeping it under control and finding the strike zone. He pitches out of the stretch. Here's the 2-0. That one skips away from the catcher, Avicauser, and the count goes to 3 balls and no strikes here on Tejeda. "12 runs on 10 hits, 2 errors for Orange Lutheran, 1 run on 3 hits, 3 errors for Servite." Here's the 3-0. In there for a strike, good fastball, 3 balls and 1 strike. Tejeda so far today has an RBI ground out to his credit back in the 5th inning. Three balls, 1 strike. Swing and a miss, overpowered him with a fastball, and it's 3-2. So after falling behind 3-0, Cardenas coming back with a couple of strikes here to bring the count full on the backup catcher, Richard Tejeda. The payoff pitch with nobody out. This one fouled off to the right. Count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Fuentes on deck. See who comes in for Carson Bowen. Fuentes will be hitting in the leadoff spot for Derek Curiel. Seventh pitch of the at-bat coming up here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And that one upstairs pops out of the mid of Avicauser, and down to first goes Tejeda. So leadoff walk will bring up Jake Fuentes with 1 on and nobody out. Fuentes has an at-bat this season. He's 1 for 1. Also had an RBI, that coming against Ukaipa. In the championship game of the PBR Invitational, that was a game in which the Lancers collected 18 hits and put up 12 runs as Cardenas steps off the pitching stripe before we get this at-bat underway. Fuentes, a right-hander. Bowen will be the man on deck to hit in his spot, number 2 in the order. Here comes the first pitch. Swing and a miss. Fastball up in the zone. Count is 0-1. Tejeda at first. 12-1 the score. Fuentes, a right-hander with an even stance at the plate. 0-1. Fastball in there for a called strike. He's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Josh Fuentes, a third baseman and a pitcher by trade in his junior season. 0-2, overpowered him with the fastball there. Got him on 3 pitches for out number 1. So 1 out, 1 on here for Carson Bowen. 3 good fastballs there from Cardenas. After the leadoff walk, he comes back to strike out the next batter he faces. Bowen will be due up next. He is 1 for 4 today. RBI double. He also has a couple of fly ball outs. He reached on an error. Fastball up and in. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. Evan Miranda on deck. He will hit in place of Mikey Romero. And then we'll get back to Ryan Irwin, who came on for Casey Borba to start the top of the 6th. 1-0. Upstairs again. 2 balls and no strikes. Bowen has an RBI and a run scored today. And that double, his first of the season. 6th hit of the year as well for him. Here comes the 2-0 to the right-hander, and that one misses a bit inside. And the count goes to 3 balls and no strikes. Defense playing pretty much straight up here. If anything, Hawking is a bit off towards right center. Trevor Schmidt is well off the line in left center. Here comes the 3-0. Called a strike there, just below the letter. 3 balls and 1 strike. All fastballs here in this at-bat from Cardenas. Orange Lutheran putting up 12 runs for the second time this year. 3 balls and 1 strike. Here comes the pitch upstairs. Bowen will head down to first on a 5-pitch walk. And free pass is issued to 2 of the first 3 batters here in the inning. That'll bring up Evan Miranda with 1 out. Miranda 0 for 1 this year. He was the final batter in the Jay Saris series on Friday. Looking to turn it around after striking out in that at-bat. Up and in here from Cardenas. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes, and that's going to get Dwayne Page out of the dugout and back over towards the mound. So again, trouble for Xavier Cardenas. He struck out 1, but he's walked 2 so far here in the inning. That fastball starting to get away from him a little bit here, as Page has a couple of words here. Probably one of the few players he's either been even with on the mound or even looked up a bit to. Here is Dwayne Page, about 6'5". Cardenas about 6'7", it appears. That's just ballparking it from behind home plate. Meeting quick here as Page will head back to the dugout. Cardenas is trying to get 3 outs here in this top of the 7th to give the Friars one final chance in the bottom half of the inning. Camden Cluett will lead things off in the bottom half for Servite. One ball, no strikes here on Evan Miranda. Tejeda at second. Over at first is Carson Bowen. Here comes the pitch out of the stretch. Fastball, foul tipped in the mid. It sounded like anyway. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Casey Borba is on deck now. So he will take back his spot. He's 1 for 1 so far today. 3 runs scored. He's got his first homer as a varsity Lancer. Here comes the 1-1. Swung on and missed. It's 1-2. Still all fastballs here from Cardenas. Miranda, the right-hander, slightly open stance. Here comes the 1-2. Swung on and missed. Strikeout number 2 for Cardenas as he gets him to chase a bit outside. And with 2 runners on and 2 outs, Casey Borba will have a 4th plate appearance here this afternoon. Walking the second, walking a third, solo home run to left center. Back in the 5th inning. 3 runs scored for him here today. It's been a good day for the junior third baseman. Again, Tejeda remains at second base. Over at first base is Carson Bowen. First pitch, downstairs, fastball, 1-0. Hawking still a little bit more towards right center, thinking that Borba's not going to catch up with the fastball in this situation. Trevor Schmidt is well into left center. Here comes the 1-0. Thought about it, did not go around. It's outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Again, remaining close to the line in right field is Miles Scott. On deck for the Lancers, J.J. Robles. 2 outs, 2 runners on. Top of the 7th, here's the pitch. This one fouled off straight back. Count goes to 2-1. Right-hander on the mound, the senior Xavier Cardenas. Comes in the 24th ranked senior, class of 2022 in the state of California. As the 2-1 comes in, that fastball's on the outside edge for a strike, and it's 2-2. So again, the talent is known. He's a flamethrower. And he's impressed in the offseason, just got to figure it out here. As he has struggled so far in season 2-2, tried a breaking ball. It slipped out of the hand and goes upstairs. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hawking has moved over even more into right center field. I really think that Borba's going to go the other way here, which would make you think that Cardenas would just stick with the fastball. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the offering. This one lifted into right field. Miles Scott has a beat on it. Will come in a bit. The wind's shifting it around a little bit, but no problem for the freshman as he makes the catch. And that'll do it for the top of the 7th here for Orange Lutheran. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Last chance for Servite as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Orange Lutheran 12, Servite 1. This is Lancers Baseball on CA Sports Zone and the Coach's Radar. Well, baseball fans, are you looking for a reliable, cost-effective commercial cleaning company in Orange County? Then contact Jet Clean Janitorial. Appointments can be booked online at kzonebpcages.com. That's kzonebpcages.com. K-Zone Training Center. Book your appointment today. Bottom of the 7th inning we go, and Jackson Andeal has made his way to the mound here for Orange Lutheran. The senior left-hander will make his 2nd appearance for the Lancers this season. He has pitched 1 inning of work, and in 15 pitches he struck out all 3 batters he faced. I believe that was against Ukaipa in the 6th inning just a few weeks ago. Jackson Andeal will try to lock it down and close things out for Game 1 of this series and face off against Camden Cluett, Austin Rabago, and Jared Hawking. And in that in that appearance against Ukaipa, it was a well-placed fastball that got him through the inning. See if he can do it again here. His 2nd appearance, as we mentioned, older brother Max. Off to a great start at Grand Canyon University. Younger brother Jackson trying to make an impact in his senior year here as he gets set to go. Camden Cluett, 0 for 2 so far today. RBI ground out back in the 2nd inning. He also flew out to right his 2nd time up. And in fact, we'll have a pinch hitter here as Kai Negretti will get the call here in the number 8 spot in the order. So a lefty versus lefty here to start things off is Kai Negretti, who will likely be the starter on the mound tomorrow night for Servite. We'll get an opportunity here late in the ball game on a Tuesday afternoon. Negretti, and then on deck is Kyle Buchanan, who will hit in place of Austin Rabago. And back to the top of the order with Jared Hawking. 12-1, Orange Lutheran. The Friars lone run all the way back in the 2nd inning, an RBI ground out. RBI ground out by Camden Cluett with the bases loaded that scored Miles Scott to temporarily tie up the ball game 1-1. First pitch here from Andeal is swung on line right to the first baseman, and it's Robles ranging towards the line to make the catch for out number 1. Pitcher's best friend right there. 1 pitch, 1 out. And that'll bring up Kyle Buchanan, who will hit in place of Austin Rabago. Good contact by Negretti, but easily tracked down there by Robles over at first. And now Buchanan, the right-hander, hops a bit before he steps into the batter's box. Junior at 6'4", 170, but lowers the stance, bends the knees, takes a strike on the outside edge, and the count is 0-1. Third pitcher of the ball game for the Lancers today. Oliver Santos went 5 innings. Brock Worthgen with an inning of work today, and now Jackson Andeal. Time called here before Andeal throws the pitch. The count remains no balls, 1 strike. For Andeal to be pitching, he's had to come back from a couple of injuries in his Lancer career. Has kept with it, worked hard, and has gotten his way back onto the pitching mound for the 2nd time this season as he gets a swing and a miss on a fastball from Buchanan. And he's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. The 6'3" left-hander ready to go. Here it comes. This one lifted lazily out towards shallow right. That's going to be the second baseman, Wilcoxon, making the catch over the shoulder. And the Friars, down to their final out here as Buchanan is retired for out number 2. And it will be Jared Hawking making his way to the plate here. He is 1 for 2 so far today. Reached on a catcher's interferences last time up. Also singled to open up the bottom of the first inning, was stranded at second base. First pitch from Andeal. Fastball at the knees, in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Again, these two teams meet again tomorrow night, 7 p.m. at Hart Park. The 0-1 offering comes in from Andeal. This one lined over towards short, and that one is picked up before it hits the ground. That's Mikey Romero making the play, and the Lancers take the first game of this 3-game set by a final of 12-1 as Orange Lutheran improves to 8-1 on the year, 3-1 in league play, and the Friars drop for the first time this season to 5-1 and 0-1 in the Trinity League. Again, these two teams will play tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at Hart Park, so Servite not a whole lot of time to just forget about this one and move on to the next, as they will visit Hart Park in what should be another good pitcher's duel between Kai Negretti and Luis Rodriguez tomorrow night. But the Lancers will enjoy this one here. They bounce back after a 2-1 loss at the hands of Jay Serra on Friday, and they take this one by a final of 12-1. We'll be right back to recap this one in just a moment. Once again, Lancers 12, Friars 1. We'll be right back with more here in Anaheim. This is Lancers Baseball on CA Sports Zone and the Coach's Radar. Welcome back to Servite High School. The final score here today, Orange Lutheran 12 and Servite 1. This game really turned in terms of the momentum in the top of the third inning when the Lancers put up 5 runs in that frame on 3 hits. And Servite made an error there to compound matters for the Friars as Orange Lutheran improves to 8-1 overall in the year. They are 3-1 in the Trinity League, and for Servite, this was their league opener. They fall to 5-1 overall and 0-1 in the Trinity League. Again, keep in mind, Servite had not played an actual baseball game in more than 2 weeks heading into the contest here today. Maybe just off to a slow start, but the pitchers struggled a bit on the mound for the Friars as well. Looked like Miles Scott was going to have a good outing here today. today after retiring the first 3 Lancers in order and then escaping a jam in the second inning by allowing just 1 run. And then he scored the tying run in the bottom of the second inning, but the wheels just fell off in the top of the third when Curiel started with a double. Bowen reached on an error, and Mikey Romero drove in both runners with a triple to right center field. Borba walked, Gabe Miranda also reached, and then Brian Martinez brought home 2 with a double as the Lancers immediately turned it into a 6-1 ball game. They would come back up in the 5th and have more success at the plate as Mikey Romero would lead things off with a triple and score on a throwing error on the same play. Casey Borba would launch a deep home run to left center field, his first as a varsity Lancer, and that put it at 8-1. The Lancers just kept on putting more on from there, eventually getting to 12-1 by the end of the top of the 5th inning. It would stay that way through the end as Oliver Santos really didn't have to worry too much after that 5th inning. He went out for the bottom of the 5th inning, and after that his day was done. He picks up his 2nd win of the year after going 5 innings of work, allowing 1 run on 3 hits. He walked none. He struck out 4 and got a little bit stronger as the game went on. And after that long top of the 5th inning, clearly didn't seem to be too bothered by it as he went out for the bottom of the 5th inning and faced only 4 batters. So Oliver Santos picks up his 2nd win of the year. He's now 2-0. On the other side, Miles Scott takes the loss. He was a late, maybe not late, but he was a switch in as the starting pitcher here tonight and showed good poise as a freshman left-hander getting the start in the Trinity League opener. But again, the Lancers pounced on him in the 3rd inning. They then pounced on Andy Mike in the 5th. And the Friars threw out Chris Grotus and Xavier Cardenas, two of their 3 normal starters late in the ball game here today. They struggled a bit as well with their command, but were able to get through the 6th and 7th innings without allowing any runs. So some good stuff late for the Friars, even though it was a bit of a struggle on the mound. They will have Kai Negretti throwing tomorrow. He is their more consistent left-handed pitcher. He will toss against Luis Rodriguez at Hart Park tomorrow at 7 p.m. as these 2 teams will battle in Game 2 of their 3-game set. Orange Lutheran will try to win it, and Servite will try to take it to a deciding Game 3. So again, the final score here, Orange Lutheran 12, and Servite 1. Lancers are 8-1 overall in the year and 3-1 in league play. Servite 5-1 and 0-1 in league play. Not a whole lot of time. The Friars will likely just flush this one and get back into it for tomorrow. Until then, we'll remind you that tomorrow's game, we start at 6:45 with the Lancers pregame show, and then 7 p.m. first pitch between Luis Rodriguez and Kai Negretti as Orange Lutheran and Servite meet for Game 2 of 3. Until then, we hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon and evening. This has been Orange Lutheran Baseball on CA Sports Zone and the Coach's Radar. For John Legg, my name is Nathan Percy. Thanks again so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Until then, so long, everybody. Good night.